It's your under degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling 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 and sipping this tea. It's your under degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling 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 and sipping this tea.
What's going on, Diamond Gang? I missed y'all yesterday. I took the day off. There wasn't a lot going on, although I have a whole lot of information we need to go over in regards to the war. Um, they have started articles of impeachment for Pete Hegseth. Congress is actually trying to invoke the 25th Amendment on Donald Trump. China gave us a warning. They went through the Straits of Hormuz. So we got a lot of things to go through tonight. This is going to be a long live because I have 2 days worth of information. I want to say welcome to my subscribers. And if you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. Shouts out to all my beautiful mods. I love y'all for holding me down. And without further ado, we're going to get into some things because I have a lot. I think this may be possibly a 3-hour live. So let's start it. Let's get it. Let's get it cracking. Hold on, y'all. Let me make myself small. Okay, yeah, that's small enough. Let's go, Diamond Gang.
Because of the oddity of this administration, where so many of the decisions seem to rely and reside in one person, not the most reliable of all people. It's the president of the United States, and he is very mercurial, and he's very unpredictable, and he changes his mind.
Listen, Diamond Gang, he crashed out for 2 days straight. He was up all night again last night, attacking the Pope, and now his people are now making public statements attacking the Pope. Okay?
And he changes his objectives. We don't know what President Trump's objectives are, so it's hard to say how they're different or they're similar to Israel's. But I think Israel has been consistent in its actions. What it wants is to weaken its neighbors, whoever they are. I mean, it's happened in Gaza, which they destroyed, the West Bank, Lebanon. They devastated the country, 1 million.
But let me tell y'all this. Shouts out to Pakistan because they are in overdrive right now. And there are negotiations going on right now as we speak with Lebanon and Iran. So that's a good thing. And we may be meeting with Iran again very, very, very soon, thanks to Pakistan.
People are now have fled the south. They've killed hundreds of people, even since the recent ceasefire, which apparently didn't apply to Lebanon. And they would like to weaken, fragment Iran as much as possible because they have this view that this is their opportunity to extinguish any threat, real or pretextual, imminent or into the future. That's not really, I think, President Trump's view. Again, it's hard to divine it. But what that means is Israel would prefer to prolong this war as long as possible.
Guess what? Netanyahu, his ratings has went down. The people of Israel is not happy with him right now at all about this war.
I don't think that that's President Trump's ambition. And I think the day President Trump says it's it, I think he will, Prime Minister Netanyahu will not be able to do anything but acquiesce. So we have to wait for that moment to happen, for the president to tell the Israelis it's over. It's over both in
that part. He needs to sit down with him and tell him it's over. We got to do something.
Iran and in Lebanon. I'm not sure what he'll say about Lebanon, but at least in Iran, I don't think Prime Minister Netanyahu could afford to stand in his way.
It certainly is a disaster. It's a disaster of two people, Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump. They are both mentally unstable as individuals, and they both lead ruthless governments. Both are waging war relentlessly, brutally. Donald Trump has said things in the last few days that of a shocking nature that no president in American history has.
He's been crashing out. I mean, bad. Last night was just as worse as the other day.
Has ever come close to uttering. And he's now attacked Pope Leo and posted a picture of himself as Jesus Christ. In other words, the man is mentally, this is one of the few times I agree with Hillary Clinton, I guess. The man is mentally unstable.
You know what, Diamond Gang? I have a clip in here specifically on Hillary Clinton and the conversations that she has had with Bibi, with Israel, and it's not good.
War is a disaster. It is going to create a global crisis. It was a war, not even to say of choice, but of whim of Netanyahu and Trump. Two people got us into this. It's a measure of how completely deinstitutionalized the United States government is, that this is basically a war chosen by one person.
I told y'all, not the last live stream, but the one prior to that. I told you guys, Congress was not playing, and they were going to give him major hell. And that's what they are doing. They are looking to remove Pete first and then Trump.
With the sycophantic Secretary of Defense, all the rest of his tiny...
Diamond Gang, before we even go any further, I hate begging for likes. I don't care about a super chat, super sticker, or a cash app. Please and thank you, just hit the like. I take a lot of time to do this, to put this stuff together. All opinions will be respected over here, even if it's opposing to mine. You just can't be disrespectful. But you can definitely disagree with me. You have that right to do so.
Inside team going along, but knowing that this is tragic and farcical is the word that one of the insiders used, and no role whatsoever of Congress, no evidence of even a minimal interagency consultations other than to hear the objections of the intelligence agencies and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So we're in the hands of absolute craziness.
The president, he set Vance up to fail. He sends Vance
He absolutely did. And I think Vance right now, because he's jumping on the bandwagon and going after the Pope right along with Trump, I think that he is truly messing up his chances to run. He really is. I'm shocked, I'm surprised, and I'm disappointed in him, very much so. Because out of all of them, I thought he was the least. No one showed up at the Turning Point USA thing that they had with him there. Somebody heckled him. He snapped out. I also have that I'm going to show you guys tonight. No, the house was not full. Let's just say that.
He knows Vance is not a fan of the war, so he's got to pin him and got to get him to adhere to the idea of the war. You know, he doesn't give Vance any proxy.
Do you guys hear what he's saying? Well, guess what? He made a full, complete turnaround. Yesterday, his shenanigans his rhetoric was right along with Trump's. And he is the least favorite. I mean, he does not care for this war at all. He has not been vocal on it until they sent him over there to negotiate. So I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he bumped his head on the way back. I don't know.
Whatsoever. Vance calls him no less than 10 times in 21 hours. Okay, so that's a leash. Okay, that's not anything other than super control.
Right, super control. So they sent him over there to negotiate, and they made sure they was on the phone with him damn near every 30 to 40 minutes.
Vance also speaks to Rubio, Hegseth, Bessent, and Cooper during the talks. So he's trying to manage 5 different principles simultaneously. And so there's a structural problem there as well. Vance is now a devout Catholic, which I think you know. I feel like Trump is making...
This is why I'm super shocked that he went at the president, but he did.
A stooge of J.D. Vance. And I think he's going to really hurt Vance coming into the second half of the administration.
It's already done. The damage is done. I got this footage yesterday, y'all. We're not even close to what's going on today.
Strait of Hormuz blockade, or at least the blockade of ships leaving Iranian ports, has begun. That's pretty unsettling for people. Robert, how long will it last? We're straight into the prediction game.
Like, they're laughing at this. They are literally laughing at this. China's not playing.
Here. We want to know.
China's not playing. Okay? They already told us, look, here, we do business with them and we're going to continue to do business with them.
No, we want to know. You spent all that time with kids.
Your confidence
in your predictions
in me
is high.
as somebody who can read tea leaves.
Yeah, I love
to Donald Trump's horoscope. I mean, listen. I'm flattered.
No, to be clear, I'm not
flattered.
going to ask you to read Donald Trump's horoscope. That's a step too far. But everything else, I expect answers on.
My goodness, it is extraordinary to have spent the last few weeks saying, open the strait, and then for Donald Trump to close the strait is...
I'm going to tell you guys this. I told you guys this maybe a week ago, almost a week ago. They're going to close part of the Red Sea. If we don't get some type of resolve, that's their next move. That's Iran's next move, is to close part of the Red Sea.
Off the charts, ridiculous in some ways. It is predicated on the idea that he will be able to starve Iran out if they can't get the revenues from shipping their oil, and if they can't...
Yes, please, Diamond Gang. I got 163 in the building. I have 16 likes. Can you guys please hit the like, please, and thank you. We have so much information to go through.
Can't get goods, vital goods and food and the rest in, that they will be forced back to the negotiating table. But if we've learned one thing from this war, it is that the Iranian capacity to absorb pain is a multiple of the Americans.
That part, to endure this type of pain, this is something that is not new to them. We have had sanctions on them and everything else, and they survive. We have basically bombed the hell out of them, and they are still standing.
Capacity to absorb pain, and although it may work, it may take an awfully long time.
Adam, let me be pretty blunt. The American people are poorer and less safe because of this president. He got us into a conflict without a strategic goal, without a plan, without a timeline, without an exit strategy. And at this point, he is just flailing.
I'm telling you guys, he's ready to abandon this and go on to his next mission, which is Cuba. He is already, I think he is speaking with Ford to see if they can make parts for military equipment. So, yeah, he's getting ready for the next war.
Try to get us out.
Or should I say the next takeover, he thinks, in his head.
Through a negotiation the other day, the vice president spent 21 hours, and at the end of that negotiation, I understand that the president was at a UFC fight, enjoying the evening with his Secretary of State. In what world does that make sense? That's how serious he is taking this. We have 13 dead Americans. We have 13 families out there that don't have fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters. There are 150 dead Iranian kids and probably in excess of another 1,000 Iranian civilians needlessly killed. Our magazine depths are somewhat depleted. PAC-3 rounds for SM-3s, THAAD rounds, or packed for Patriots, SM-3 rounds, THAAD rounds, other munitions. We've spent billions of dollars, and this president does not.
That part, and he's still asking for 200 billion, y'all. Please hit the like. Please and thank you.
Not have a plan. And now his latest thing is he's going to completely close the Strait of Hormuz and continue to drive up energy costs and food costs for the American people.
We're all returning to DC after having heard from our constituents. And I know I can speak for my colleagues here that all of us heard how angry and how livid the American people are about what
they're not playing with him. And I told y'all that they was not going to let up off his head. I told y'all that.
What's happening, because we're seeing this war that's being fought in our name, at our expense, but without our say. It is absolutely appalling to see this type of behavior from the President of the United States, from this administration, but also congressional Republicans. I worked there at the White House during wartime. Nothing that I see right now resembles anything that the American people should have to endure when we see this commander-in-chief who is unhinged and taking such dangerous actions, again, in our name, but without our say. I'm just tired of this. As someone who worked in diplomacy before, nothing that we saw in Pakistan with these Iran discussions and negotiations resembled anything like what diplomacy and serious work should look like. We see a president now basically playing chicken in the Strait of Hormuz. And who is it that's going to struggle and pay for this? It's the American people.
All of this is of Donald Trump's making. He made this mess. He brought the chaos.
Again, I will say this again. Shouts out to Pakistan. Right before I came on, I hurried up and I made a 15-minute clip to give y'all the latest update. They are working overtime, and right now, Israel and Lebanon they're talking, okay?
He brought the cruelty, he brought the death and destruction, and he brought the economic pain at home. We have a president who has shown no capacity to be a commander-in-chief, not to mention the fact that we've had a president threaten societal destruction. I blame this squarely on the Republicans in Congress for enabling him, and I'm going to continue to lead in the Congress to do everything we can to force the Senate to do its job.
Instead of getting us out of the war, he's attacking Pope Leo. Attacking Pope Leo.
Which again, last night, overnight, he attacked the Pope multiple times. And now his little buddies are speaking vocally and attacking the Pope as well.
Because Pope Leo is against war. Maybe Pope Leo, like all of us and the overwhelming majority of the American people, was horrified when he heard President Trump say and threaten massive war crimes against the Iranian people, saying he was going to end the Iranian civilization. And now we see the same president who attacked the Pope putting images of himself online as if he's Christ. This is a deranged man.
Not only that, he came back and lied and said that he was a doctor. The most embarrassing. This is nothing tops that embarrassment.
This is a man that should have no connection to being commander-in-chief. It's a man who's putting Americans at risk. People.
Diamond Gang, I don't care about a super chat, super sticker, or a cash app, but I do care about the likes. I need to stay in the algorithm. I got over 300 people in the room. I have 28 likes. Can you please hit the like? We got a lot of information to cover. I don't want to keep stopping to beg for likes. Thank you. They're free. They're free.
Around the world at risk. And so I just want to say, along with my colleagues, when you're looking at a president who's so unhinged, why is it we can only find one Senate Republican, Rand Paul, to say no, to say they're going to exercise their constitutional responsibilities and make sure we end this illegal war that is making us less safe. We're going to keep pushing. And I know
and I mean, they are pushing. This is yesterday's information. We're not just up to date just yet. Let's go.
American people are going to keep pushing, because that's what we really need, for the American people to be calling all of their members of Congress, especially Republican senators right now, to demand an end to this war. And somebody who understands
But we are still sending military forces over. Right now, as we speak, we're sending them over.
As somebody who left the military because I did not want to be implicated in war crimes, I think it's important to note that both the U.S. and Israeli militaries have already been carrying out war crimes since the start of this conflict, from hitting schools, some by accident, but there's also been dozens of universities bombed, medical.
Again, he left the military because he did not want to be a part of war crimes.
facilities, the bridge that Trump bombed last week with the express intent not of achieving a military purpose, which theoretically could have made it legal, but to pressure the Iranian government. If that happened here, we would call that terrorism. We would know it was a war crime.
Fallout from two major controversies involving President Trump and religion. He has now taken down an image he posted showing himself as a Christ-like figure. That's after backlash from Christian conservatives.
He is so upset that he has gotten the backlash that he crashed out a second day.
But he's doubling down on attacks against Pope Leo. He calls him weak on crime.
I thought it was me as a doctor, and
that famous lie, I thought it was me as a doctor. This right here should be troubling to a lot of people. We know what you meant. We know what we saw with our own two eyes. This right here should be troubling to people.
had to do with Red Cross.
But some of the president's supporters in the religious right saw it another way, calling the image outrageous blasphemy, while Vice President Vance said it was a joke.
It was a joke. It was a joke. He's messing his chances up big time.
One day earlier, Trump took on the first American-born pope, calling him weak on crime and the threat from Iran.
But guess what? Today, the Pope is living his best life. He is paying the president dust.
We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon.
After that, one prominent American Catholic bishop, Robert Barron, called on the president to apologize.
Who's you people? Who's you people? Lowtrex, your president is a liar. I just showed you. Nothing that's going on is a joke. Nothing.
Will you apologize?
No, I don't, because Pope Leo said things that are wrong.
This man who is spazzing out and causing chaos and conflict and waged an illegal war is running our country.
He was very much against what I'm doing with regard to Iran.
Trump said the right people in Iran called again.
He's not in his right mind at all. At all. And you guys are cool with that? I'm not.
And Monday, and they want to make a deal, quote, very badly. But he insisted his biggest red line remains.
You marking it down? Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
I don't like that word, you people. I don't. It's offensive.
We asked President Trump if a deal is not reached by the end of the ceasefire set to expire in 8 days. Will his threat from before still stand? You may remember he said he would take out an entire...
Yeah, and we're going to go over what Congress is doing. They are calling him out. And I told y'all a couple days ago, they're going to stay on his ass. They're going to stay on his ass. Marjorie spoke out today. I got an update with the Epstein. She said the government shutdown was to delay the release of the Epstein files. He said some crazy stuff to Marjorie Taylor. And I'm going to show y'all that tonight.
Higher civilization. Trump said he wouldn't comment, but, quote, it won't be pleasant for them. Let me put it that way. Vice President Vance says
that man is unhinged and he needs to be stopped. And he plans on going to Cuba next. Please.
The ball is in Iran's court to accept the offer he presented.
President Trump, I'm afraid, has met his match in Pope Leo. Not by chance, the name Leo, Leone, means a lion. And this lion is not going to back down.
That part, he said what he said.
President Vance called it a joke. It's a very sick joke. And jokes sometimes have deep consequences. And certainly
He offended every Republican Catholic in this country. They're done with him, especially the young ones. There was a poll, the younger Catholic said they're done. They're done with him.
I am personally offended by someone who places an image of Jesus and depicts themselves as Jesus I think of other religions, how they would react to such an image. It really is a sad day.
You're entitled to still support Trump. I'm not mad at you. That is your right, and that is your choice. Thank you for being respectful. But a lot of Catholics spoke out, and they're not feeling it.
For the American presidency, where we sink to such levels. I think the vice president, with all respect, is completely wrong. He does not understand, even though he is a Catholic, the role of the papacy. The role of the papacy is to...
That's his problem. He think he's a king raiser, and he's not. He's not. He want to be just like his little friend Bibi. He want to be like him so bad.
Shed light on moral issues. And certainly when there is life being lost in wars, the Pope cannot but speak out.
No, I don't need to be educated. And if you have a problem, Linda, exit stage left. That's what you do. I'm entitled to feel however I want to feel, just like I told you guys in the chat. You can say what you want, but don't be disrespectful. Don't, or you'll be removed.
To defend those who are suffering innocently. And that is the role of...
One for certain and two for sure, the man is unhinged. And that's a fact. That's a fact.
Of the Pope to bring peace and goodwill. He's simply preaching the gospel. I regret to say that the church does have a voice on moral issues. It brings that light to moral issues, and it's not going to back down.
He was wrong. He had no proof of no imminent threat.
Well, I'm back in the papal plane where just yesterday, Pope Leo made headlines by deciding to voice his opposition to push back against what President Trump had been saying about him on his social media platform, Truth Social.
I'm not Catholic, but thank you.
Now, it might look like Pope Leo is outgunned when it comes to President Trump, who has an enormous following on social media and is a seasoned veteran.
And that's what he's mad about, because Pope Leo has a strong following and he's a seasoned veteran. And his ratings was way higher than Trump. His was 53, Trump's was -13.
When it comes to using social media. But people often forget that Pope Leo is no newbie himself. He is the first pope in the history of the papacy to have already used social media before he became the Pope. So think about
that part. No doubt, God is always working.
For a second. He already had a Facebook account. He already had a Twitter account with tens of thousands of followers. And that was before he became the Pope.
Hannibal, it's on its way. The Democrats are flipping seats like crazy. So it is what it is. Crash out if y'all want to. Just don't be disrespectful.
So he knows what he's doing. Now, this is not the first time we've seen a clash between a pope and a president. In fact, Donald Trump clashed with Pope Francis back in 2016. It was amid the backdrop of immigration policy in the United States. President Trump was talking about building a wall. Pope Francis said to build
that part, Tracy. God is working.
Walls is not Christian. Non è cristiano. President Trump replied that that was disgraceful. What stands out now is the level of vitriol, just how public this exchange is. Never before in the history of U.S.-Vatican relations have we seen anything like this. We're also seeing a dramatic difference in the way both of these men see power, see their role in the world. On the one hand, you have Pope Leo, who is repeating this message of peace, the message of the gospel.
And he's doing what he's supposed to do, the message of the gospel.
Blessed are the peacemakers is something he told me and everybody on this plane multiple times. President Trump, on the other hand, is engaged in a war in Iran. And it's just fascinating to watch how the two most important Americans in the world, two of the most powerful Americans in the world, are so diametrically opposed on this fundamental.
I know that's right, David. If weakness means love for peace, then I'll take it any day. That part.
Issue, war and peace.
The U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports is now in effect, part of a push to force Tehran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz after 6 weeks of disruption that spiked global oil prices and cut shipping traffic dramatically. Washington has deployed more than 15 warships, including an aircraft carrier, to enforce the blockade along Iran's coastline. U.S. Central Command is leading the operation, restricting access to Iranian ports while keeping the main shipping lane through Hormuz technically open. Traffic is still well below normal.
Again, if you just now coming in, China gave us a warning, and they went through the straits. They're not playing
levels, and we're already seeing disruption. At least 2 tankers turned around as the blockade began. Donald Trump says this is about forcing Iran back to the negotiating table and reopening the strait, warning Iranian vessels could be targeted if they approach.
Right now we have a blockade. They're doing no business. I didn't like seeing boats come.
They did business today, and I'll show you guys
out if they were doing business with Iran, but if they weren't, no boats came out. So now Iran is doing absolutely no business.
There's also a growing risk of a wider standoff. China says it has its own agreement with Iran to keep oil flowing and is warning the U.S. not to interfere. At the same
But I am hoping that they get this second rounds of negotiations started, because if not, the next plan is Iran is going to block off part of the Red Sea.
time, diplomacy is underway. Qatar is urging Iran to engage in mediation and reopen shipping lanes, while European governments are stressing that freedom of navigation through Hormuz must be protected. So for now, it's a fragile balance. Military presence building, diplomacy continuing, and a situation that could escalate quickly.
You know, we've been told that the Iranian Navy has been reduced to more or less non-existent.
Now, what they're worried about is that they have a bunch of small boats which can do major damage, okay? That's the thing. They got a slew of them. They got a bunch of them.
Status. And yet Iran is saying that they will trap any enemy who try to challenge them, presumably talking about enemy vessels that enter the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, what might the Iranians have in mind?
I showed you guys the other night what those small boats can do to those big tankers. I showed you guys a video.
So about 160 of their naval vessels have been sunk, according to the U.S. military, but they have thousands of small boats. And those small boats, some of them, of course, are manned, and they have the ability to launch missiles from them. Some of them are unmanned and are essentially suicide drone boats. So they have the capacity.
And where do they keep getting the drones from? Russia. Hit the like, y'all. I'm at almost 60 likes. I need 100 likes, please.
To cause havoc in this very, narrow waterway. 21.
We got a lot to go over. This is going to be a 3-hour live. I always start from the prior day. I didn't go live yesterday, so we got a lot of catching up to do.
Miles, which is, of course, very small. And they can also target ships, as they have been doing, from the coast and up on high mountain areas that look down on this actual waterway. So they have the capacity to close the strait. And that,
Todd, I believe that. You said Iran can wait us out as long as Trump wants to play this game. I believe that. I really do. They've been through a lot. They can stand this type of pain.
I didn't include all the remaining sea mines, which can cause havoc against ships. And we have to remember, these ships are commercial, and they don't have the capacity to deal with any of these potential threats. And nor would the insurance company feel confident sending them through there until it's been completely cleared of mines. And right now, the Iranian government is saying they don't even know where all the mines they put out are.
Yeah, which is crazy. But they are getting help. China already said they're going to help, and possibly, well, we already know Russia been helping them, but yeah.
So there is a very challenging situation here for the international shipping community.
But wait a minute, y'all, wait a minute. NATO, they made an announcement. They're working with Iran. They said after the war is over, they're going to work. They are negotiating with Iran. I got that. I forgot to tell y'all that in the beginning of the live. Trump is pissed. All right, let's go.
Obviously, he's going to try this blockade. It could backfire. It could spark the Houthis to try to obstruct the Red Sea and the Bab el-Mandeb.
That part, y'all hear that? The Houthis, that's what they're going to do. That is their next move. Don't believe me, just watch.
Which would only compound all the issues that we've been discussing since this war began.
I have a question about the nature of a blockade, because we can do this. Like, we have the ability to interdict these ships. We have the ability to board them and search them. Where does this fit in legally, though? Like, if we say in Iran.
Now listen how complicated this gets legally, okay? Just listen.
Iranian vessel is sanctioned, for instance, like off the coast of Venezuela, we were seizing some of those. That feels pretty clean, but there's got to be ships in the Gulf that don't meet that criteria. It feels like it could get messy, I guess is the question.
It could get very messy.
It definitely can. I would not want to be a CENTCOM lawyer at the moment. Just to even use the terminology blockade comes with a ton of international legal implications. Those blockades are supposed to be impartial. So the sort of idea of sorting, vessels could potentially be problematic. But yes, like what do you do, for example, with a vessel that is South Korean? That is carrying material that's not, necessarily sanctioned, but is willing to pay a fee to the Iranians. What do you do with that vessel? Do you have legal grounds, essentially, to seize that vessel?
Y'all see how messy this could get? They didn't think it is, though.
It gets pretty complicated. And then there's the question of where do you send those vessels? Do you send them back to the ports? Do you seize them and move them to new ports in the region, and then potentially enter into a whole legal question around the contents of the tanker, for example, or the vessel, the shipping containers? It's not easy. You saw some of it recently with Venezuela, but those were really onesie twosies. We're talking about, on average.
I agree, Todd. He's playing with fire. I agree.
130 vessels go through the strait every day. That was pre-war.
You said you take the vessel, no, we keep the oil.
So this is a pretty significant sorting operation, and the legal dimension of this is going to be important going forward.
Do you get the feeling that there is an actual appetite for peace coming from Israel?
I would say that there is great approval for
Israel. I'm just hoping it work out. For those that's just coming in the door right before I went on, Israel is now talking to Lebanon. Pakistan is in overtime trying to make some things happen. Hopefully, I'm hoping by next week we'll be in the second round of negotiations.
the war here in Israel. In fact, you look at some of the public surveys here, they put the approval rating right around 80% amongst Israelis. So, a lot of people here are actually hoping that this war continues. And the reason for that is that most everyone here believes that the root of all their...
Now, he's saying that, but I have a piece in my second video to where they're saying that Bibi's, Netanyahu's approval rating is going down. Now, this was from yesterday. Y'all know I start from the day before and move to current time. But today it's a different story. So, you know, look at both pieces and let me know what you guys think.
Problems pretty much traces its way back to Tehran. So that's why you have a lot of people here, whether it's the situation in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, any of these groups that operate out of Iraq or Syria, believing if Iran falls and the regime falls, then there's a greater chance of stability there.
Who is running the country? Is he in charge or is Netanyahu in charge? Do they have something on him?
This right here, this is the question that a lot of people is asking, because for us to be reporting back to him, Netanyahu, is ridiculous. I showed y'all a complete video of how it works, and actually Netanyahu saying it out of his own mouth that we report to him like he running the show.
We don't understand and we don't know. What we do know is that everyone or many people in Washington are saying that Trump is desperately seeking for an off-ramp, but in reality, everything he does pushes the region and the world towards escalation. So is Trump in charge? Is Netanyahu in charge? Is his son-in-law in charge? Who is in charge? We don't know. The Israeli regime is intensifying the war, and it's sacrificing the global economy. And the United States, being U.S. leadership being Israeli first in priority, is abiding by the demands of the Zionist lobby and the Israeli regime.
This is breaking news. Iran just issued this threat in response to the U.S. naval blockade, saying if the security of the ports of the Islamic Republic of Iran in the water.
Listen, Diamond Gang, and they're still threatening. They are trolling the shit out of Trump with those videos today because China went through.
Of the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman is threatened. No port in the Persian Gulf or the Sea of Oman will remain safe.
چنان آمریکایی‌ها دارن محاسبه اشتباه و تصمیم غلط میگیرن. آمریکایی‌ها نمیتونن.
I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be reading this, guys. Hold on, let me go back a little bit. Let's go.
To the U.S. naval blockade, saying if the security of the ports of the Islamic Republic of Iran in the waters of the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman is threatened, no port in the Persian Gulf or the Sea of Oman will remain safe.
The United States continues to misread the situation and make wrong decisions. This is what he's saying. It cannot take any real action, any so-called blockade is more of a grandstanding. We are certain that such actions will bring no benefit to the U.S. and ultimately, this is damn near a threat, will only hurt itself. Iran's policy in the Straits of Hormuz is clear. Any action that threatens Iran's security will be met with proportional response. Any action against Iran's vessels will draw a corresponding response. Any harm to Iran's national interest will inevitably create security vulnerabilities that could endanger the safety of the American people. So that they were threatening us yesterday. I believe that if the U.S. government is wise, it will not take another risk. There is no doubt that if it does, it will suffer a major defeat and will reap what it has sown.
China has just inserted itself.
All right, we're going to get into China, Diamond Gang. I got 77 likes. I got 284 in the building. Can y'all please get me to 100 likes? Please and thank you. Let's go.
More directly into one of the most sensitive waterways on Earth, and the message coming out of Beijing is impossible to miss. At a moment when the Strait of Hormuz is once again at the center of global tension, China's Defense Minister Admiral Dong Jun has signaled that Chinese vessels will keep moving through the passage that Beijing intends to protect its commercial lifelines.
Did y'all hear that? So China said they're going to keep going through. They don't give a good goddamn. And they're going to protect their vessels. Okay, let's go.
And that outside powers should not interfere in China's dealings with Iran.
So he basically told Trump, move out the way. Don't interfere in our business. And they got through. They got through today.
Multiple reports published today say Dong publicly stressed that Chinese ships are still operating through Hormuz and that China will honor its trade and energy arrangements with Tehran while warning others not to meddle in its affairs. That is not just a routine diplomatic statement. It is
that part, because they do have nukes and their ships are equipped. Okay? They're equipped. Let's go.
Strategic signal aimed at Washington, aimed at regional powers, and aimed at energy markets. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the most critical maritime choke points in the world, and any hint that major powers are now openly staking positions there immediately raises the pressure.
We have some big news right now. A Chinese oil tanker that's sanctioned by the United States of America has successfully passed through the Strait of Hormuz despite Donald Trump's naval blockade.
This was yesterday. They got through again today. Do y'all hear me? Hit the like. I'm at 89 likes. I need 11 more, Diamond Gang. Thank you. So they got through yesterday, and a ship got through today too. Let's go.
Blockade, and now Iran is mocking the United States of America for allowing a ship, a sanctioned Chinese tanker, to pass through. It comes as Vice President J.D. Vance accused Iran of economic terrorism and says, quote, two can play at that game, essentially admitting that the United States will too engage in economic terrorism. Reuters confirmed that the sanctioned oil tanker was able to pass through, and now you have an Iranian embassy in Ghana saying, quote, Rich Starry, a Chinese oil tanker sanctioned for shipping Iranian oil, flying the flag of Malawi, a country with no coastline, sailed through America's blockade. The Navy, with its many big, beautiful ships, issued repeated warnings. Reportedly, the tanker's captain upgraded to premium to skip the ads. Edit, we're being told that the blockade only applies to countries the United States isn't afraid of. It now fits on
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Donald Trump's McDonald's receipt delivered by DoorDash. This is where we are right now. I'll have more updates for you soon. Spread the word. Follow along for more.
CENTCOM just released a statement saying that no ships have bypassed the U.S. blockade in Hormuz since it began, but there are many other reports conflicting this. They say during the first 20...
This is what I'm saying. Do you see how they lie to us? I'm just saying. They lie all the time.
24 hours, no ships from Iranian ports made it past the blockade, and 6 merchant vessels turned around. However, the Rich Starry, a U.S.-sanctioned Chinese oil tanker, successfully crossed the Strait of Hormuz, bypassing the blockade today. Many people are saying this isn't true and the vessel actually turned around, but that was yesterday. And today, it fully crossed the Strait of Hormuz. There are also reports that at least 4 ships with links to Iran have passed through the strait since the blockade began, and 2 of these specifically departed from Iranian ports. But even if the U.S. stopped all traffic to and from Iranian ports, that wouldn't matter because Iran reportedly repositioned 23 million barrels of oil right before the blockade began, allowing them to continue deliveries even if the Strait of Hormuz is restricted. They're also utilizing a ghost fleet. At least 129 tankers linked to Iranian crude are currently operating with their tracking signals disabled to evade detection. And at least 23 Iranian-flagged tankers have been tracked reaching Southeast Asia waters to conduct ship-to-ship transfers that disguise the oil's origin. So we're just escalating things for no reason here. Even if the blockade works out perfectly, it still won't stop Iran. They've been preparing for this exact scenario for years.
47 to be exact. 47. Let's go.
China is now emerging as a key player in Middle East diplomacy, especially when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz. Beijing is hosting diplomats from countries like Spain, the UAE, and Russia as it tries to position itself at the center of this issue. China is also...
And it's so crazy because Trump claims that he asked China not to help them. Okay? And they supposedly wrote back and said they wouldn't help them with any type of drones or weapons or anything like that.
Credited with helping bring Iran to the negotiating table in the first place to get this ceasefire in action. At the same time, China is criticizing U.S. actions in the region, calling a potential blockade dangerous and irresponsible. And there's a reason for that. China is the largest buyer of Iranian oil and
I told y'all the night before, the last time I was live, that China's going to get involved. China's going to have something to say. And they did.
Much of it goes through the Strait of Hormuz. So this goes beyond simple diplomacy. China is expanding its sphere of influence at a critical moment.
I was speaking to a senior source in the UK defence establishment, and I said, look, is this blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, is it realistic? And this person basically guffawed and said, well, if the United States is willing to shoot at Chinese oil tankers, are they...
And we're not. As you can see, they got through.
Willing to do that? Well, you don't need to be a geopolitical scientist to understand that China is one of 5 permanent members of the Security Council at the UN and is a nuclear armed power. So what seems to be going...
Pay attention to this clip.
On is that Donald Trump, clearly they hadn't expected that Iran was going to be able to close off the Strait of Hormuz, hence the negotiations. He is now wanting to sort of come back with his idea, but here's this pretty senior UK defense establishment source basically saying it's not realistic.
Saudi Arabia has been privately urging Donald Trump to drop the Hormuz blockade over concerns that Iran is going to block the Bab el-Mandeb Strait.
That is next. Everybody in here, the next time I go live, and if I say it's been blocked, I want y'all to say, you said that. I told y'all that a couple days ago. The Houthis, they're going to end up blocking. If they don't go back to the negotiating table, that is their next step, okay, to counter this U.S. blockade.
Next, if Iran decides to close this strait, which they've threatened to do in the past, Saudi Arabia then loses its remaining export route. After the war closed Hormuz, Saudi Arabia pivoted its oil exports to Yanbu on the Red Sea.
So now Saudi is worried, okay? They worried like, God damn it. If they close that off, we're in trouble. So they're behind the scenes trying to get this fixed as soon as possible.
Restoring output to its pre-war levels. But Iran's foreign policy advisor has warned they can disrupt the Bab el-Mandeb with a single signal. The U.S. blockade is supposed to choke Iran's revenue, but Iran can easily respond by choking Saudi Arabia's revenue instead. If both of these straits get closed at the same time, that means the entire Gulf's oil output has no route to market.
And it's over. That's when prices, if they close part of that Red Sea, y'all think gas prices is high now. Globally, it's going to crush everybody. I'm just saying. Hit the like, y'all. Hit the like. Let's go.
Thus, global energy markets collapse. But if this strait gets closed, it won't just affect oil prices. Approximately 10 to 14% of total global seaborne trade passes through it. Therefore, we're going to see severe food shortages and a bunch of other issues. This is why Saudi Arabia is panicking.
Yeah, they're panicking, but that's their next power move, okay? They held the cards with the straits, but if they block part of that Red Sea, these guys is playing chess, not checkers. Let's go.
Behind the scenes, they know if Iran shuts down the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, it won't just be catastrophic for them, it will be catastrophic for the entire global economy.
Challenging it will be eliminated. Matt Finn is live in Dubai with the very latest for us. Matt?
Good morning, Ainsley. So far, no reports of any major incidents or confrontations out on the Persian Gulf behind me where that American blockade is happening. Now, Fox's Lauren Simonetti reports that a Chinese-owned ship passed through the Strait of Hormuz today with the U.S. blockade in place. It's an oil and chemicals tanker that was turned back yesterday, the first day of the blockade, but got through today with success. Now,
this was yesterday. They got through again today. I'm going to show y'all. We almost to what's going on today. This is yesterday's. I didn't go live yesterday, so I had to show you guys this.
Tracks with what the president and CENTCOM is saying, which is that the entire Persian Gulf is not blocked. Rather, the U.S. is preventing ships from entering or exiting Iranian ports. An Iranian military spokesperson has been threatening possible retaliation for all this, writing, if the security of Iranian ports is threatened, no.
This dude, I see him all the time. I don't get any clips from him because he just screams.
No port in the Gulf or the Sea of Oman will be safe. The latest report this morning from the International Energy Agency says continued attacks on energy infrastructure here in the Middle East and ongoing restrictions to tanker movements throughout the Strait of Hormuz has led to the largest fuel disruption in history. Initially, these deep cuts in oil came from the Middle East, had a huge...
You said the blockade is working? Thank God for President Trump. How did China get through? Hegseth is getting ready to be gone. They done started the articles of impeachment. Stick around. I'll show you. Stick around.
Impact on sectors like jet fuel. But if things remain as is, this new report says scarcity and higher prices will persist. Ainsley.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
We have some big news at this hour. 50 House Democrats have introduced legislation to allow Congress to play a role.
Hold on. It looks like my video's free.
In the 25th Amendment process, specifically.
And the opportunity here, I know some.
Hold on, gang.
As is, this new report says scarcity and higher prices will persist. Ainsley.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
Hold on, y'all.
We have some big news at this hour. 50 House Democrats have introduced legislation to allow Congress to play a role in the 25th Amendment process, specifically.
Well, y'all can hear the audio. I don't know what's going on with my video freezing.
As it relates to President Trump. The new legislation, which was first reported on by Scott McFarlane.
That have led us to
yeah, it's frozen.
4 hours, and in a statement late this morning, they say 6 merchant vessels complied with direct.
What I'll do, because this is freezing, I'll go straight to the second video. Give me 1 second. Let's go to 2. Let's go.
The US said it wouldn't allow any ships to come or go from Iranian ports near the Strait of Hormuz, but some seem to have gotten through. The Strait of Hormuz, one of the most dangerous waterways in the world, has been
for the people in the chat, how did those, if the US blockade is working, how did those ships get through? How did they get through? Are they still, are the people that just was typing that in the chat, you still here?
To be closed by Iran since the start of the war, making it nearly impossible for ships to pass through it. Then, on Sunday, Donald Trump announced the US would begin its own blockade in retaliation. But despite that, 4 vessels with links to Iran have crossed.
4 vessels with links to Iran got through. Kevin, I need your answer, please. I need your answer, baby. How did they get through? And did you just come in here? Did you not see that China told the US, if you interfere, there will be repercussions? We've been doing business with them. Let's go.
The strait, according to ship tracking data. 2 of those ships had visited Iranian ports, according to marine traffic. They both crossed the strait. The Christiana has now changed direction. Now, marine traffic shows the other 2 didn't come from Iranian ports, but they are sanctioned by the US for Iran-related trade. That's the Rich Starry and the Morlikishan. These 2 are interesting because the Rich Starry, which has now changed direction, reportedly has Chinese owners and crew, and the Morlikishan actually sailed from a Chinese port. China has been buying most of Iran's oil during the war, so it'll be a test of whether the US enforces it. China's foreign ministry has condemned the blockade of Iranian ports as dangerous and irresponsible, though it's possible that our locations for some of these ships.
So where you at, Kevin? Okay, where's your answer at? How did they get through? How did China get through? I just need an answer. If it's working so well.
Might be off, as throughout the war, there's been lots of incomplete or false data. The US says it won't stop ships sailing through the strait, coming to or from countries other than Iran, but it's not yet clear how that will work.
Here we go. CENTCOM, Brad Cooper is the...
All right, so this clip is just basically showing how it's supposed to work. Let's get it. Let's go.
commander of CENTCOM, set out the statement, all right, about the blockade. It says the blockade of Iranian ports has been fully implemented as U.S. forces maintain maritime superiority in the Middle East. Here's the key line. An estimated 90% of Iran's economy is fueled by international trade by the sea, and that's the whole purpose of this blockade. They want to starve the regime of economic benefit inside the country of Iran. Move that to Persian Gulf. We have 6 dots on the screen here. There are more ports for Iran, but these are 6 of the main ones, and these are the ones that are targeted. This one's up here near Basra, Iraq. This near Karg Island. This here, Bandar Abbas, and this one here on the Gulf of Oman.
You're right about that. Fox News just say anything that will help Donald Trump, and it's disgusting. They have been being called out for their BS all week. Let's go.
Which is important, too, because that's where the U.S. Navy is saying they're waiting and watching, and that's where they will interdict any ship that goes in or out of an Iranian port, all right? Other vessels can go into other Gulf nations. It's the Iranian ports that are important here, and those are marked here in red. Now, this is what the Iranians have been saying for some time. They told the international community, don't go in this area, and this area is marked by this box here, and the Iranians have said that they mined the area. They couldn't tell us where the mines were. They couldn't tell us how many mines were out there. And the U.S. thinks the Iranians may have been lying about this the entire time. So again, they sent these destroyers through this area off the east coast here of Oman to prove whether or not there are any mines out there. In the meantime, the Iranians want all these ships to pass along their islands closer to the Iranian territory so they can exact Chinese yuan and cryptocurrency, by the way, out of there. Earlier today, just about 2 hours ago, there was a Curacao flag ship that did cross. It went through the Iranian island. Let me clear this and go back one. But it was bound apparently for Basra, Iraq. So technically, that would not be a violation of what the blockade has set up here. OK, let me clear this and show you the assets in the area. They are substantial on the screen, big, big numbers. Swing on over here and we'll talk about that. The types of assets involved. You got the U.S. aircraft carriers. These are just beasts on the open ocean here. Amphibious assault ships. You've got.
I'm just showing their perspective. I'm just showing you guys what the blockage look like, what they're supposed to be doing, what they have out there.
Got destroyers in the area as well. Here's an F-15 that's just part of the strike force there. You got F-35s as well. The unmanned aircraft that we talked about, the drones. You got refueling aircraft that can stay up in the air 24 hours a day.
You guys see how Fox News is beefing it up?
Days sometimes, and also the surveillance aircraft that can do something very similar. So the force is there, and they are packed and stacked in that part of the world.
We have major news right now.
They so packed and stacked, China got through. Let's go.
As Trump has been completely humiliated today by French President Emmanuel Macron, who has gone and drafted a post-war plan to open up the Strait of Hormuz with other European nations.
This is what I'm telling you guys about NATO. They got their own goddamn plan. Okay, they're going to be working with Iran to make sure that everything is good with the straits once the war is over. And Trump is pissed and he's fell out with Starmer. Let's go.
That also includes British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who is involved with this, according to new reporting from the Wall Street Journal. Trump has been excluded from all of this. They are planning to take a defensive position and police the Strait of Hormuz once the fighting is over.
So they're going to help Iran, our allies, because Trump wouldn't leave them the hell alone. It's going to help Iran with the straits once this war is over. That's how, hey, it is what it is. Trump has managed to alienate us, okay? He has. Let's go.
And have excluded what they call the belligerent parties, which they mean the United States, Israel, and Iran. Now, they are going to do this in conjunction with Iran and Oman, and talks are going on there. But they are working on a plan to completely secure the Strait of Hormuz and allow energy to flow through without the United States being involved. And this is going to include Germany as well.
This is messed up. This is crazy. Woo, Trump has done a number on us.
And they're having a meeting about this today with other European nations to basically finalize this plan going forward and get ready to implement it once this war is over. Part of this plan includes sending in military vessels like mine clearing ships. There are some differences being worked.
Yeah, they're going to help them clear the mines. This is crazy, y'all. This blew my mind.
Worked out in this deal today, as the French diplomats think including the United States will make this deal less palatable to Iran. But the United Kingdom diplomats think that excluding the United States will enrage Trump and make this operation harder to achieve. This all comes as Trump has been calling on these European nations to help with the blockade against the strait, and they've all declined. And instead, they are going around him and trying to free up the flow of traffic through the strait without his input or help. Now, this is just a reminder that Pete Hegseth decommissioned our minesweeping.
Sandy said, thanks, Trump. How did that happen? He bullied them. He put sanctions on them. He talked to them bad. Like, at the end of the day, okay, when you decided, when you had that gut feeling, he said, when you listen to your son-in-law and you listen to Hegseth and you listen to Netanyahu and they told you to do it and you did it because you had that gut feeling, not that you had the proof that there was an imminent threat, just because you had that gut feeling, this is what happened. This is what happens.
Fleet. Yeah, he did that last year. So the countries that have this are the European countries. They still have minesweepers that can clear all the mines out of the strait. Europe is attempting to de-escalate the entire situation after Iran has now threatened a blockade of the Red Sea due to Trump's block.
They got to do what they got to do, because if they block that Red Sea, the whole world is in trouble, okay? And we already in trouble.
Blockade of the Gulf. So guys, crazy stuff happening today. Keep checking back for updates. I'll let you know what's going on as soon as I know more, and I'll see you here for the 411.
President Trump again saying he thinks the war with Iran could end soon, signaling a new round of peace talks, telling Fox News he thinks it's close to it.
Diamond Gang, we are technically up to date. We are on what happened today since this morning. I don't know why my video froze up, but it is what it is. You gotta, hey, things happen. We gotta go with the flow. Let's go.
Over and speaking to our John Carl, saying, I think you're going to be watching an amazing 2 days ahead. But of course, there have been many similar predictions before with this war that's now in its 7th week. Vice President Vance, who led the last peace effort, warning there's a lot of mistrust still between the two sides. And you have Iran's president posting today, no power can force us to surrender. Remember, that key issue of Iran's nuclear program remains the primary sticking point. And at the same time as talking up the chances of a breakthrough agreement, this morning, the Washington Post reporting that thousands more U.S. troops are being sent to the region. Iran's armed forces also hitting back at this blockade, which is now in its third day, calling it a violation of the ceasefire, and warning that Iran's armed forces will stop any exports and imports in the entire area, the Persian Sea, the Gulf of Oman, and in the Red Sea. But the war and the squeeze on this vital waterway, of course, is impacting the global economy and the U.S. economy. The International Monetary Fund warning of the danger of global recession, presenting 3 growth scenarios: weaker, worse, and severe, depending on how the war unfolds. And actually, they're saying that even if the war ended now, the impact of limited oil supply.
Trump wants out of this so bad so he could go to his next conquest, Cuba.
And the impact on prices would be felt for an ongoing period. Meanwhile, you've still got this ongoing war north of here with Israel attacking Hezbollah targets inside Lebanon. And
if you just came in right before I came on, and I will show you guys towards the end of this live stream, Pakistan is working overtime. And right now, Lebanon and Israel, they're talking. Okay. They're talking, and they're trying to set up the second round of negotiations for us. So let's be hopeful.
Lebanon firing into northern and central Israel. You had the first direct face-to-face meetings between Israeli and Lebanese government officials in 30 years. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who was there, calling them historic. But as I say, the fighting kind of goes on, and you now have more than 2,000 people who've been killed, more than 1 million forced from their homes, with more attacks in either direction and a fresh evacuation order for Lebanese citizens to leave their homes.
I'm here in the Pakistani capital, Islamabad, where those unprecedented U.S.-Iran talks took place and where there are growing signs this diplomatic push may not be over. President Trump is now suggesting a second round of talks could happen here in Pakistan within days.
I definitely believe that it's going to be days. If Israel and Lebanon is talking right now, as I'm on this live stream, I wouldn't doubt very seriously that we'll be in talks within the next couple of days, gang.
strong indication that despite no deal over the weekend, the White House still sees value in keeping this channel open. Now, the first round of talks was nothing short of historic. More than 21 hours of face-to-face negotiations between Vice President J.D. Vance and senior Iranian officials. These were direct, sustained engagements at a level we haven't seen for decades. And from the U.S. side, officials are pushing for tighter limits on Iran's nuclear program, particularly around uranium enrichment levels, verification mechanisms, and timelines. And of course, full reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, that critical waterway where 20% of the world's oil passes from. Now, from the Iranian side, the position is just as firm. Tehran is signaling it's open to further talks, but only if there are credible guarantees. They want meaningful sanctions relief, funds to rebuild their war-battered economy, and they remain deeply skeptical after being attacked while in the middle of previous negotiations with the U.S.
Again, previous negotiations, they were in the 6 rounds of negotiations. Everything was going good. They even offered to dilute the uranium. And Bibi said, let's just do this. This will be easy. We will go in, take down the regime. And it did not work that way.
So the gaps are real and significant. Still, here in Islamabad, Pakistani officials tell me they are working both sides intensely, trying to bridge those differences and bring them back to the
Shouts out to Pakistan. I love them boys.
table. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif is in Saudi Arabia. He's going to Qatar and then Turkey, part of a broader regional push to coordinate with key players who could influence the U.S. and Tehran and support continued negotiations. All of this is happening under a tight deadline. A fragile ceasefire is set to expire around the 22nd of April, and the goal is to reach some kind of understanding before that window closes to avoid a return to open conflict. For now, officials here say they're waiting for signals from both Washington and Tehran.
You said why, again, why is my question? Is there any talks with the Islamic regime? Trump, Rubio need to be talking to the Persians, the freedom fighters, those people. Those need to be the ones in power. Okay, let's go.
But after 21 hours of direct talks over the weekend, one thing is clear. The door to U.S.-Iran diplomacy is again open, and Pakistan is trying to keep it that way.
Under Iran's new toll booth system for the Strait of Hormuz, though, commercial vessels are being charged fees in Chinese currency as China's global prominence challenges U.S. dominance. Iran is also charging tolls in cryptocurrency to ensure that they can't be traced or confiscated.
That part, to be clear, Yolanda checks many news sources on the left, right, and center. That's a fact. I watch this shit all day. I do.
Because of U.S. sanctions. Notably, using both of those things allow Iran to bypass the U.S. dollar and avoid U.S. imposed sanctions.
We have some news right now. Vice President J.D. Vance.
All right, we're going to get into J.D. Vance. It was a rough night last night for him. Not many people showed up. It was a tiny crowd, significant heckling. It was a mess. Let's go.
Vance had a really rough night at the Turning Point USA conference today. This video was taken by Jake Traylor, and if you look, the crowd is pretty much empty. It appears as though Turning Point USA severely underestimated the crowd size for the vice president. Only about 25% of the arena that he's speaking in is actually filled. But that's not all. He got a pretty...
I'm not sure what's going on in Spain. Hey, get that out of there, Kevin. Take that out of there. Kevin, you can't cuss in here. Misspell the cuss words.
Icy reception today at the event. He was heckled repeatedly by folks who were upset that the Trump administration is
Don't block Kevin. Let him stay. Just delete the comment.
Actively, quote, killing kids in the Middle East. This was in reference likely due to the United States strike on the all-girls school in southern Iran, in Manab, Iran, where dozens, probably over 100 children were killed by a U.S. strike. And it comes after Vance wasn't successful in negotiating the Iran peace deal, or rather lack thereof.
Not only that, he jumped on the bandwagon with Trump as far as the Pope. He is messing his chances up. Let's go.
Over in Islamabad. So a pretty rough night again for the vice president. His stock seems to be falling. Spread the word. Subscribe to Substack. Link in bio to support. Follow for more.
Everyone is talking about the extremely small crowd size for J.D. Vance at the Turning Point USA event in Georgia, but they're not talking about why it's so small. Only about 25% of the arena was filled for this highly anticipated event. So why was it so empty?
It probably has to do with Erica Kirk's last-minute cancellation. She pulled out of this event with JD at the last minute over
They said she was getting threats, y'all.
very serious threats. But it's safe enough for the vice president?
Well, 25% is only about 2,000 seats there. So she probably saw the low ticket sales and said, you know what, peace out, I'm not showing up, and saved herself from the embarrassment of this low turnout event. And let's be honest, JD Vance is basically failing at everything. It's trending on social media that
he crashed out. Oh boy, let's go.
Everything he touches dies. So it's not really someone she probably wants to be associated with right now. As always, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
So if you want to complain about...
So this is it. This is when the hecklers came at him as far as the kids being unalived in that first bombing. Let's go.
What happened in Gaza... So if you want, sir, to complain about what happened in Gaza, why don't you complain about Joe Biden and the last administration? We're the administration that solved that problem. And by the way, not only was our administration like the administration that solved the problem, but the president. Excuse me, sir. Right now, you see more humanitarian aid coming into Gaza than it has any time in the past 5 years. Because
come on, Diamond Gang, I got 479 in the building, 123 likes. Could I get to 150, please? And thank you. Please and thank you. We still got a lot more to cover. Please and thank you.
we have taken that situation seriously. And that's one of the things that I'm proud of about our administration is whether it's there or...
That part, I'm with you. See, man, BS, this administration is the problem.
Thailand and Cambodia, we have consistently tried as much...
Drago, I'm with you. The Pope is right. Let's go.
Much as we can to solve these problems, not just complain about them like the guy who just ran away angry.
Trump, $20.28 per gallon. Yep. Gaza is solved. Why are these people projecting?
I had to divert because if I didn't do that.
Listen to this. Listen to this, y'all. Hit the like. Listen to this.
Right now, you would have Iran with a nuclear weapon. And if they.
Stop it, man. He's still going. He's still running with this. He is still running with this, Diamond Gang.
They had a nuclear weapon, you would be calling everybody over there, sir. And you don't want to do that.
Well, you keep saying was. Is this war over?
I think it's close to over, yeah. I mean, I view it as...
This is insane. This is insane, gang. The insanity, man. Every time I see... I just can't. Let's go.
Very close to over. You know what? If I pulled up stakes right now, it would take them 20 years to rebuild that country. And we're not finished. We'll see what happens. I think they want to make a deal very badly.
And in the middle of this actual war, the president has gotten into a verbal war with the Pope. He suggested that Leo is weak on crime, that he's terrible on foreign policy, that he wouldn't be Pope without him, meaning Donald Trump. And then he posted this photo, AI, depicting himself as a Christ-like figure healing the sick. I have to ask, as a former White House chief of staff, I think you've met with multiple popes. What is your take on all of this?
He lost for words. Definitely lost for words.
In 50 years, over 50 years of public life, I've never seen anything like this. This is strange.
That part. And guess what? You said Iran would not have happened if Trump did not rip up the Iran deal. Guess what? They said that if they come close to a deal, it will actually mimic Obama's. So why the hell did you tear it up, man? It will mimic Obama's. It'll be very goddamn close to Obama's. This is crazy. Hit the like, y'all.
Beyond belief. To have a president of the United States criticizing a pope and then doing the kind of paintings that he did, portraying himself as Christ-like.
And then he got on and said he was a doctor. Don't forget that.
This is unheard of. And, you know, I'm a Catholic. I'm very offended that the president would openly criticize the Pope. But more importantly, I think people of faith believe that religion is deeply private and deeply personal and should not be political and should not be used as an excuse for war. And behaving that way,
Sweetie, if you believe that it's misinformation, just go. Like, if you think that like I said, you're entitled to have your own opinions. You just can't be disrespectful. This is my perspective. Doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. You don't have to, but don't be disrespectful. You can disagree, say what you have to say, but the moment you're disrespectful, you will be removed if we catch it. It's just that simple.
I believe sends a message to the world that the United States, and particularly the president, are really not very credible in terms of what they're saying.
At all. He didn't get caught in so many daggone lies. Come on, Diamond Gang. I know y'all could get me to 200 likes. I got 513 in the building. I got 142 likes. Please and thank you. Help me stay in the algorithm. I don't come on here at begging for cash apps. I don't come on here saying I need a super chat nor a super sticker or a gift. All I'm asking for is a like. That's it. It's free.
And if you lose credibility as a president, you've lost the ability to lead this country.
That part, when you lose credibility as the president, and he has lost credibility, who believes that he can run this country like it should be?
He is not sleeping. He is pretending to be Jesus. He is posting all night. He is not well.
I told y'all he was crashing out for about 2-3 days straight, literally.
With gratitude to a gentleman on social media by the name of Harry Sisson, he did a timeline of all the social media activity of Trump over the course of a night. Not a daytime, over the night. Okay, here we go. First of all, 9:49 p.m., he posts the famous picture of him as Jesus, which he now said,
it is fun with back and forth, but not disrespect. I don't do that. If you could go back and forth with me, I just went back and forth with Kevin. Kevin wasn't disrespectful, though. That's the part where I'm not tolerating it. There's billions of people on YouTube. You don't have to be here. If you don't agree with it, just leave.
Is him as a doctor, okay? 9:50.
To the point where you got to get out of your body and be disrespectful, and we can't have it back and forth as adults and respectful. You got to go.
As a minute after Jesus, he posts a picture of the Arc de Trump, as it's now known. This is this 700-foot thing that's going to be a sort of a Washington version of the Arc de Triomphe. There you go.
I don't do trolls. I don't troll, and I don't expect to be trolled.
10:10 p.m. he posts a meme. 10:32 a news clip. 10:53 a news clip. 12:43 a.m. most Americans are asleep now.
Do you guys hear how many times he is posting through the night, crashing out? Do y'all hear that? Okay.
He announces the blockade of Hormuz. Okay. 2:35 a.m. He's maybe just had a little doze or he's had a hamburger or something. 2:35 a.m. he posts an article about Joe Biden. 2:37 he posts an article on Swalwell, this guy in California who's pulling out of the race for allegations.
Colony, I believe that as well. I do.
Of sexual offences. Same minute, 2:37, he reposts again.
That part, Possum. He needs somebody to keep him up off the internet.
The article about Biden, the same article. 2:38, he posts an article on his ballroom. 4:10, he posts an article about Iran. And honestly, Harry Sisson, he said this himself. He is not sleeping. He is pretending to be Jesus. He is posting all night. He is not well. And actually, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi.
Okay, I got somebody from the UK in here. Welcome, Colony. Thank you so much for coming through.
Others are out there on the back of his recent behavior saying, this guy is seriously not well.
That's a disgrace. I'm very upset about that. I mean, how egotistical can you possibly be? I'm ashamed that he would actually do that.
This is a avowed Trump supporter.
A man I voted for and trust.
Donald Trump's attacks on the Pope today included the nonsensical statement, quote, I think he's very weak on crime.
Hey,
there has never been.
BJ, thank you. Hey, girl, love your style. You're as funny as, you think I'm funny? Love from New Zealand. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Subscribe to the channel, please. Hit the like. I got 526 in the building, 154. Give me the 200 gang. Please, 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 and thank you. Let's go.
A pope in favor of crime. And Donald Trump is the first politician in American history who thinks the pope is some kind of political candidate that he is campaigning against. Donald Trump also...
That part. That's how he's treating the pope. Like he's some type of political rivalry. Like, come on, man. Stop it, Trump.
Also told the demented lie in attacking the Pope that Iran wants to, quote, exterminate the world. Now, think of the level of depraved stupidity involved in that statement. Iran wants nuclear weapons, quote, so they can exterminate the world, end quote. That is Donald Trump's childlike understanding of nuclear weapons that has apparently not become even slightly more informed.
Listen, Diamond Gang, this man is unhinged. I'm sorry. It is what it is. For all the Trump supporters, I'm sorry.
As a result of becoming president and being in control of nuclear weapons himself. After another brush with Donald Trump's madness today, Pope Leo said this.
I have no fear of the Trump administration or speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel. And that's what I believe about. I am called to do what the church is called to do.
Pope Leo, keep speaking your message of the gospel.
If we're not politicians, we're not looking to make foreign policy, as he calls it, with the same perspective that he might understand it. But
Melanie, very shameful.
I do believe in the message of the gospel.
The Antichrist. Peace to everyone. David, I agree. Trump is an embarrassment, Sandy. Shame on Trump. All right, I got to get out these comments, but I love reading them.
Blessed are the peacemakers is a message that the world needs to hear too.
And not one of those Republican...
Hold on, I got to stop. Is it Hansel? This is my first time on your channel. Subscribe. This is the content I'm into. Thank you. I appreciate you, everybody that's subscribing to my channel. It is growing. And I love my community of people. It gets wild in here, but I'm cool with it. Thank you.
Catholics in the House or the Senate had the courage to say today, I agree with the Pope, not one of them. Donald Trump's longest-serving White House Chief of Staff, former Marine Corps General John Kelly, according to a report in the New York Times today, concluded that Donald Trump was mentally ill. John Kelly reached that conclusion possibly after learning about a book on this program that we featured repeatedly on this program, co-authored by mental health professionals, called The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump.
Yeah, he is pissing the whole world off.
The Times reports today, quote, John F. Kelly, his longest-serving White House chief
Yellow Summer said religion is not the answer.
The staff in the first term even bought a book by 27 of those specialists called...
You said you voted for Trump, but he's doing the exact opposite of why I did. I know. And I'm not even going to lie, for the people that voted for Trump, I feel bad because you trust someone like that. The worst thing is to be lied to. You know what I'm saying? That's a messed up feeling. It's just messed up.
The dangerous case of Donald Trump in an effort to understand his boss, and came to the conclusion that he was mentally ill. And that is not a 6-inch headline in newspapers around the country and around the world tonight. Donald Trump was mentally ill, says chief of staff. Imagine if an Obama White House chief of staff, a Biden White House chief of staff, a Bush White House chief of staff, any White House chief of staff had ever said that the president and the White House they served in was mentally ill.
So let's call Trump's.
Listen, the Senate, Congress, they back on his butt. And I told y'all a couple days ago, they're going to be a problem for him. I said they're not going to take their foot off of his neck. And I'm going to show y'all. They are being consistent. They're trying to get Pete Hegseth out of there. They're trying to hit Trump with the 25th Amendment. They're trying to impeach Pete Hegseth. And rightfully so.
Iran policy for what it is. Not Trump's Operation Epic Fury, Trump's Operation Epic Failure. That's just what it is. It's an epic failure. 45 days into this war, things are worse.
Listen, Trump is going to go down in history for this. Our kids will be reading about this war and how things went on. I'm telling you, I might not be around to see it, but those that are, you're going to say, I was on this channel and she said this was going to happen.
Then the day Trump started his choice of putting us in war. So if Republicans won't act, Senate Democrats will force the issue. Starting this week, we will bring a war powers resolution to the floor. And if Republicans block it, we will vote again and again and again. Until this war ends, or Congress does its job and holds the administration.
I'm telling you guys, it's going to happen. They drew up the articles of impeachment for Pete today, and I have it.
Administration accountable. We will bring these resolutions to the floor every week.
During the congressional recess, President Donald Trump leveled an unconstitutional threat against Iran and its 90 million residents. The president threatened that, quote, a whole civilization will die.
Terry said, I guess that's for me. You're going to say Trump saved our country. You think I'll say that one day? I don't.
And spoke openly about destroying key civilian infrastructure and unleashing devastation across Iran. This rhetoric is not strength or leadership. It is an
Yes, Yellowtail for Pete. They drew up articles of impeachment for him today. Yeah.
American statement that betrays our values.
Somebody said, did you say Pete today? Stop playing, David.
And undermines the moral standing of the United States. Every member of Congress, including every member of this committee, has a moral obligation to reject this unconscionable rhetoric. My amendment would do just that. It condemns President Trump's threat in the strongest possible terms as morally repugnant. You can't.
Listen, Diamond Gang, I go live vertical and horizontal. I got 2 live streams streaming at the same time. Pretty soon, I will not be on the vertical side consistently. So I need y'all to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So when I go live, you'll be able to be in there if you like what you see. Okay? We'll talk about it more towards the end.
Cannot publicly say in the name of the American people that a whole civilization will die tonight.
The no's are 16, the yeses are 12.
I'm telling you, they working overtime. Thank you, Yellow Summer.
Costing us over $1 billion a day, $1 billion a day. You know, they're cutting money for education. They're cutting money, for food assistance. They got $1 billion a day, over $40 billion, to waste on this. And
that part. And we have so many of our own problems that this money can be going to. This right here breaks my heart. When you see people hungry in the streets, when you see elderly people like the lady that went to the White House with the McDonald's, she was working to help pay off her husband's medical bills. He has cancer when she should actually be at home with her grandchildren. She shouldn't have to do Uber Eats. This is crazy. Let's go.
None of this is making us more secure. It's making us less secure. This has been a stupid move by this administration. And you know what? Rather than try to continue to double down on the stupidity, they need to back up, realize it's a mistake, and find other ways to move on.
He said at times throughout this recent period that we don't need a Strait of Hormuz. It's for other people to deal with. It's their problem. So I think that will be his attitude. He will, I think, accept this de facto Iranian control over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran will try to raise some money for itself, for its reconstruction, by charging.
And that's what they was trying to do by charging $2 million
tolls. And I think Trump is fine to let other people absorb the cost, because if there's one thing he's shown us is he will not take responsibility for his own actions. And he just doesn't seem to be concerned about the consequences as long as his own political chances aren't affected. And given that he's leaving office anyway, or at least he's supposed to if he respects those rules, I think he'll just pretend to have achieved a victory here. He'll pretend that he ended a non-existent Iranian nuclear weapons.
Do y'all realize 2 weeks ago, his first crash out, he said that he was responsible for taking Osama bin Laden down? That's when I knew. I said, this man is deranged. When he claimed that victory, when we all know that Obama was in office when bin Laden was unalived, and that's crazy. That right there, I was just like, this man has lost his mind.
Program, because critical to all this is his false claim that Iran was working on nuclear weapons when it wasn't. And there was a deal that was perfectly working in Trump's first term, the JCPOA, which he tore up and helped precipitate the very crisis that we're all in right now.
He tore it up only to turn around. And I'm telling you guys, I believe I put this clip in here. The deal that they are willing to work out with Iran is so close to Obama's. It's a shame. This is crazy.
Now,
the American people are livid right now about this war that is being fought in their name, at their expense, but without their say. When I saw the absolute insane tweet that President Trump put out about destroying a civilization, I came straight back to the Capitol. And I went to the Pentagon, I asked for a briefing about this war, and the answer I got was no.
Didn't I tell y'all they was going to stay on his neck? I'm at 175. I need 25 more likes, Diamond Gang. I got 508 in the building. If I could get 25 people to hit the like, I would appreciate it.
Not just saying no to me, they're saying no to the American people. They're saying you don't deserve to know what is happening with this war. And we are just so sick of this. So I am filing and have filed for war powers myself, because it means that much to my constituents and that much to the American people to get the answers that they deserve and to be able to bring this illegal, unconstitutional war.
I see those hearts. I love y'all. Thank you.
To an end.
Hey everyone, we are here with the
Now they're going to break down and tell you guys exactly what they did to get this moving. Okay? Let's go. Who sent me a gift? Somebody sent me a gift? Corey. Thank you. Thank you, Corey.
esteemed ranking member of our Judiciary Committee, the great constitutional scholar, Jamie Rouse.
I don't know, Diamond Gang. It's going to be hard for me to leave the vertical side. I don't know. Oh, my goodness. Y'all going to keep me over here.
Who is the congressman for Maryland. And today you filed a bill that many of us co-sponsored. Tell us a little.
William, you was timed out. Did you curse? What did you say? Or were you disrespectful, or did you curse? Don't spam the chat and don't curse. Misspell curse words, please. Thanks. Hi. Wise. What's up?
But about this bill.
And thank you for joining me, Congresswoman Stansbury. Hello to my friends in New Mexico and everywhere across the country. Look, the 25th Amendment, which everybody's talking about, is all about continuity.
Listen, they're going to make a slight change in this 25th Amendment. Okay, well, it might have been on accident. You in here now, so It's all good. They getting ready to make a slight change with the 25th Amendment. I want y'all to hear this, okay? This is how hard they're trying to get this started, okay? Let's listen to this real quick.
Office and the stability of the government. And the first provision is about what happens if the presidency is vacant. The second provision is about what happens if the vice presidency is vacant. The third provision I think of as the colonoscopy provision, because it says the president can voluntarily, temporarily turn over power. But the fourth provision is the one everybody's talking about.
The fourth provision, they're getting ready to try to do this fourth provision.
4 is about what happens if the president is unable for physical reasons or mental or cognitive reasons.
Or mental or cognitive. Let's emphasize that piece.
What if the president cannot satisfy the duties of the office and discharge the powers and duties of office? And it says the vice president and a majority of the cabinet can act to transfer the powers to the vice president. Everybody seems to know that. But there's another little known part which says, or
you just being here, Yellow Summer, and hitting a like, I'm okay with it. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the gifts.
The vice president and a body set up by Congress can make the same judgment. And since 1960.
Did y'all hear that? That's the part that I wanted y'all to hear, because Congress can actually play a part in this fourth.
Is unable for physical reasons or mental or cognitive reasons.
Or mental or cognitive. Let's emphasize that piece.
What if the president cannot satisfy the duties of the office and discharge the powers and duties of office? And it says the vice president and a majority of the cabinet can act to transfer the powers to the vice president. Everybody seems to know that. But there's another little known part which says, or the vice president and a body set up by Congress.
Y'all hear that? The vice president or a body set up by Congress, okay? So this can actually take place. And this is where they come in at. And this is what they're trying to do, y'all.
Can make the same judgment. And since 1967, Congress has never set up the other body called for by the Constitution in the 25th Amendment. And so we're setting that body up.
Y'all hear that? They're going to set that body up. So again, I told you guys, they're not going to take their foot off of Trump's neck, okay? They want him out of there. Vance, I don't think he will, though. He's starting to talk just like him. He made a complete 180 today. But let's go, y'all. Man, this is crazy.
And I just want to emphasize that this is really about Congress asserting its constitutional authority. The 25th Amendment was established after JFK died. It set up and clarified the line of succession if a president is incapacitated. Many of us feel like he is incapacitated in the present moment. But it's not clear what happens if the president contests a vice president or cabinet's call on him to step down. And this is really about Congress asserting our authority under the 25th Amendment and saying we'll create a bipartisan body that will ultimately.
So that's what they're going to do. They're going to create another small body to make the choice. However, when they do that, they still need Vance. They still need Vance. JD Vance. They still will need him on this.
Make that determination. It would require a cognitive test. What else would it require?
Right. Well, let me just add one detail, Melanie, to what you just said, because under the 25th Amendment, if the president, if the vice president and a majority of the cabinet act, or the vice president and a majority of our new body act, still the president can say, no, everything's fine, and would need to be overruled by a 2/3 vote of the House and the Senate. So it's not a perfect arrangement for our situation if people are going to act with their partisan blinders on. But the new body at least would interpose some objectivity. It would be composed of doctors, psychiatrists, cognitive scientists.
So they're going to create this new body, and this has not been done.
But also veterans of the executive branch of government, former presidents, vice presidents, attorneys general, secretaries of defense, treasury, surgeon generals, and so on. So it calls for those people to be able to meet in the event of a real crisis. It's serious business. This is not just for Donald Trump. This is a permanent standing body that should have been set up long ago, so we can rectify that oversight and also deal with a very serious crisis as that people are flipping out all over the country, as you know, about Trump, pretending to be Jesus Christ in his.
I told y'all they wasn't playing. I told you guys they was not playing. Please, Diamond Gang, I need 12 more likes. Please and thank you. 12 more likes. Yeah, that's blasphemy. What he did with that picture of him being Jesus, he will go to HELL for that. And he literally told the entire nation, I was a doctor. I was like, what? I put my head down. I get secondhand embarrassment, y'all, quick. And I'm telling you, I was embarrassed.
Little online renderings attacking the Pope going to war without any congressional consent or authorization.
It's all good, Wolf.
Engaging in crazed fulminations, profanity, and so on. So people are upset about it, and we need to deal with the problem.
So we're taking action right here in Congress. And thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, Momi Stansbury.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Here we go. Here we go. We getting into Pete. Let me go back. This is the articles right here. Let's go.
Engaging in crazed fulminations, profanity, and so on. So people are upset about it, and we need to deal with the problem.
So we're taking action right here in Congress. And thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, Momi Stansbury.
All right. Bye, everyone.
House Democrats filed articles of impeachment against Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth over handling of the war. Y'all see that, right? Y'all see that clear as day. Let's go. Hit the like. Come on, I need 2 more likes, 200 likes. Let's go. There is the actual paperwork. There it is. I keep telling y'all, they're not playing. They are not playing. Okay? Let's go.
We have some big news right now. 6 articles of impeachment have officially been filed against Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth.
Officially been filed. They're not playing.
The articles were filed by Congresswoman Yasmin Ansari from Arizona. Now, she's not the only one supporting these articles. You have several members of Congress co-sponsoring the articles of impeachment today. The articles of impeachment concern several violations of the law, several violations of his oath of office that Pete Hegseth allegedly engaged in, including the targeting of civilians or the strikes on the Southern Girls' School in Manab, Iran, along.
He's done. And I showed you guys a video 2 days ago of them issuing another arrest warrant for Netanyahu for war crimes. I don't know why Trump don't think it's international law. I don't know why he don't think that they will not come for him, because they will. So he's still facing this. He can still be facing international law. I'm just saying.
With going to war with Iran without congressional authorization, mishandling sensitive military information via Signal Gate, and
please go back, watch my previous lives. The proof is in there. I showed y'all a complete video of Netanyahu's second arrest warrant. That's another reason why he does not want this war to slow down, because once it do, it's over for him.
Much more. Now, will these articles go anywhere in a Republican Congress? Probably not, but could they in a Democratic Congress if Democrats take over? They very well can and likely will. So they've been filed officially. We'll see what happens next. I'll have more updates for you soon. Spread the word. And as always, follow along to stay up to date on all the news you need to know about.
Breaking news. Articles of impeachment have been filed against Pete Hegseth. Let me tell you what's going on. At least 9 House Democrats have formally introduced articles of impeachment against Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, accusing him of bypassing Congress and helping carry out military action against Iran.
Remember, when the war first started, he said he's tossing all the rules, all the laws out the window. He gonna do what he want to do. He said that out of his own freaking mouth, y'all.
Without constitutional authority. Now, these articles of impeachment come at a time when the Pentagon is deploying roughly 6,000 additional U.S. troops to the region, adding to an estimated 55,000 troops who are already stationed there. There's also aircraft carriers, warships, Marines, basically a full-scale buildup. The administration is publicly saying that this conflict is very close to being over. I believe President Trump actually said something to that effect this morning. And meanwhile, troop levels are increasing, which kind of sends mixed signals as to what's going on. Then you have members of Congress who are now moving towards impeachment over how this war is being handled. So it makes you ask, what is really happening and going on over here? Is this actually winding down, or is this something much bigger than what's being said publicly? I definitely want to know your thoughts on this. So, of course, make sure to hit that follow button for real-time updates and
it has a strong potential to amp up.
breakdowns, and drop in the comments, do you support the idea of Pete Hegseth being impeached? And what do you think is going on? Is this thing really close to winding down, or do you think that they're just starting to ramp up?
During a phone interview today with MS
Now, remember, in the beginning of this live, I told you guys that Hillary Clinton has had many conversations with Netanyahu. And I showed you a video where he's tried to talk damn near every president into this war. And guess who took the bait? Trump.
Now, Hillary Clinton recalled previous conversations she had with Netanyahu and warned the Iran war has no end state. Take a look. Here's what she had to say. I know from personal experience how Netanyahu has tried to get every American president to agree to have an open-ended war with Iran. I had many hours-long conversations with him and his war cabinet about this and refused to go along with a very inchoate desire to do something to Iran with no real end state that could be described sufficiently. The Mossad director seemingly confirmed her assessment by saying our mission will only be complete when the extremist regime in Iran is replaced, an impossible goal. We do not believe
that part. And that's what he said. He pitched to Trump. He pitched the same thing to Trump, and he went for this shit.
Mission would be finished immediately after the fighting subsided, but we did plan carefully that our campaign would continue and be expressed even in the period following the strikes in Tehran. He just confirmed that Israel has no plans to end this war until Iran's regime falls, which is highly unlikely, even if we go full-scale boots on the ground. This is also much different from what Donald Trump has been publicly saying. He claims a regime change has already taken place, but he's also said that's not even our main goal.
When it was in the beginning, he's changed the goalpost a million times.
Hearing him talk about monsters in charge of governments, the face of terror, nuclear weapons. Who are we talking about here, Iran or Israel? Because I would ask a few questions for your viewers to consider today as they listen to Doron. Which country in the Middle East has nuclear weapons? It's not Iran, it's Israel. Which country in the Middle East has not signed the NPT, the Non-Proliferation Treaty? It's not Iran, it's Israel. Which country in the Middle East is defying a UN Security Council resolution calling for that country to open up its nuclear facilities to IAEA inspectors? It's not Iran, it's Israel. Which country in the Middle East attacked 6 countries in the Middle East last year? 6. It wasn't Iran.
He wants to start a civil war, and he wants to take over. We are just this is crazy. When you and I say this every live stream, when you have 2 different countries, 2 different objectives, and you have no plan B, this is the type of things that happen. Okay, Netanyahu objectives and goals is a lot different from ours. He don't want to stop.
Iran, it was Israel. So Iran, for all its many sins and crimes, is not the rogue nuclear state in the Middle East right now. That country is Israel. As you said, Piers, in your introduction, global public opinion has made it very clear that they see Israel as the threat to regional and international peace right now. You pointed out, Piers, that it's Benjamin Netanyahu dragging American Republican presidents into wars of choice, Iraq in 2002-3, and now Iran in 2025, 2026.
That right there. Y'all heard it.
According to a new poll, only 10% of Israelis believe the Iran war has been successful, and Netanyahu's approval rating has dropped to 34%. Even after
I told you guys this in the beginning of the live stream, his approval rate is dropping.
After heavy U.S.-Israeli airstrikes, tens of billions of taxpayer dollars being spent, and the loss of senior leaders, Iran remains intact and defiant. Tehran still has its nuclear stockpiles, its missile capabilities is now proven, and it holds sway over the Strait of Hormuz. Additionally, Hamas has not been disarmed or dismantled in Gaza, and Iran-backed Hezbollah continues to fire rockets at northern Israel from Lebanon. Two Israeli officials said the initial expectation had been for a swift operation to finish the job in 3 weeks. However, the war has instead expanded into a wider confrontation with regional and global implications. Because of this, an April 11th survey found that only 10% of Israelis viewed the war as successful, and Netanyahu's approval rating is now at 34%.
So now his approval rating is dropping, just like Trump's.
Down from 40% at the start of the war. This creates a pretty dangerous situation. History shows us that when leaders are facing political pressure and losing support, they tend to double down instead of pull things back.
Trump saying,
and that's what Trump is doing, doubling down instead of pulling back.
You want to see a stock market go down? Well, let Iran have nukes and let them use them. There's a little problem with this argument, but let's take a look at the clip.
You want to see a stock market go down? Let a couple of nuclear bombs be dropped on us, or frankly, any place else. And you'll see a stock market that goes down. So the stock market has not gone down very much at all, gone down a little bit, much less than I thought. And
y'all hear this?
And frankly, the gas hasn't gone up as much as I thought. But regardless.
It has, and it can go higher.
Even if it did, you can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Right. So I just have the greatest economy.
He keeps saying that.
Ever. Everything's going along. And I say, I'm sorry. I tell my economic advisors, I say, I'm sorry, fellas. We're in great shape. We have to go and take a little journey down to Iran.
The problem with this is they didn't have nuclear weapons. Or if you believe they did, it
now pay attention, gang.
Would have been because Trump got out of the Iran nuclear deal in 2018. But if you believe they did, Trump told us he destroyed them when he bombed Iran in June of 2025.
Right. So he got out of the deal 2018. He tore it up. Then he claimed in 2025, he destroyed everything. He obliterated everything, right? Not so.
Except maybe he didn't, or did he, or did they rebuild them? And so the point here is, sure, if Iran drops nukes on someone, that would hurt the economy, that would hurt the stock market. We just don't have the evidence that that's something they were capable of or going to do. I don't defend Iran.
And that's why a lot of us have a problem right now with this war.
Iran's rhetoric about destroying other countries. I don't support theocratic regimes, but I've got to go with the facts, and the facts don't point to that is something that was plausible or even likely. Trump, by the way.
And that's a shame that we have to rely on other countries for the truth. That part, because he's lying so much. I hate that for us. I hate that I have to take Iran's story over our own damn president's story. But he leaves us no choice.
It mentions, oh, the election was rigged, by the way. And Maria Bartiromo goes, yep. Even after she raised her eyebrows in horror at Trump saying gas prices will be higher, she goes, yep, the election was rigged. Take a look.
But under Biden, who was an incompetent president, he was grossly incompetent. Look, the election was rigged. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that now. And it's all come out.
It was so rigged that Fox had to pay nearly $800 million in fines for allowing that message to go out on their airwaves. That's how rigged it was. This guy can't do it anymore. And we need to be serious about what needs to happen, even if Republicans aren't willing to do what needs to be done.
President Donald Trump.
Y'all hear that? He got to go.
Said he thinks the war with Iran is close to over in an interview with Fox Business.
Well, you keep saying was. Is this war over?
I think it's close to over. Yeah, I mean, I view it as very close to over.
Trump told Maria Bartiromo he believes Iran is under pressure and could be pushed toward a deal. He also acknowledged that the conflict would have a short-term impact on the economy.
There's going to be a hit, but it's going to recover, I think, fully. Somehow they misquoted me. I think oil will be down.
Another lie. Nobody misquoted him.
To the levels it was. You know, they said, I expect oil to be high.
He did say that. He said it's going to be higher, maybe a little higher. He said that.
At the midterms, I don't expect that.
Trump was also asked about his hoarse voice.
I've been screaming at Iranians all day, yes. A little bit of a laryngitis because of my I've been screaming at Iranians.
So the Iran leadership you're screaming at?
You know why? Because that's the only thing they understand.
A senior U.S. official told CNN the U.S. has
Listen, man, this is insane.
not formally agreed to extend a ceasefire with Iran. Meanwhile, Trump has suggested negotiations to end the war could resume this week, but it's not clear if or when a deal will be reached.
I'm praying we go back in a couple of days.
I think Iranians now they are coming to negotiation table with mistrust more than ever. Because once the deal was agreed in 2015, Iran was in full compliance and the U.S. withdrew. They really don't know whether the U.S. is really for diplomacy or not. If we are talking now about nuclear, first of all, every assessment of all U.S. intelligence establishments since 2007, every year they have insisted no evidence of weaponization. Every IAEA report since 2003 says there is no evidence of weaponization. Therefore, there was no imminent threat. If the aim is controlling Iranian oil reserve like Venezuela, if the aim is regime change using nuclear as pretext, we are not going to have any deal.
We are not.
Okay, now this is the president of Iran. Let's go.
Seeking unrest. We understand that we should not go to war for our country to improve. But at the same time, we understand that if we are attacked, we must stand firmly and not bow to them.
And Diamond Gang, I'm just showing you guys each side's perspective of what's going on and how they feel.
By what right did they attack our country? What had we done? For what reason did they martyr our leader? What had we done? For what reason did they martyr our commanders, our scientists, our students? What was their reason? Why? What had we done? Had we attacked anyone? Had we violated any law? What had we done? Now, whoever we speak to, we say, accept us within the framework of international law. We do not act against international law. You should accept.
That's a lie. They do act. They're not following international law right now because of the blocking of the straits. Not only that, it's against the law for them to be charging that $2 million. Okay. So I'm going to call it out on both sides. That's a lie. Okay, let's go.
Those same international laws. They want to eliminate anything that leads to growth and awareness.
What's your feeling about what Russia and China want Iran to do?
I think this conflict accrues to the benefit of both Russia and China. For Russia, these high oil prices and the easing of sanctions on Russia.
Which blows my mind. We ease sanctions off of Russia, and Russia is literally supplying Iran with the drones and intelligence. Okay? Like, what?
Just fills the Russian treasury. For China, they don't really mind that strait stays
Right now, China's the only one that's making out.
closed as long as Chinese ships and Chinese energy move through the strait. And so there's a pretty simple deal for the Chinese and the Iranians.
And again, China moved through the straits today and yesterday with no problems.
To do moving forward, which is that Iran will let Chinese ships and energy bound for China move through the strait, and then China will help Iran rebuild its missile program and its drone program and probably broader destroyed infrastructure when the United States stops bombing. That is just a reality that I think is very sort of hard to confront right now.
Donald Trump's attempt to blockade the Strait of Hormuz is actively pushing our adversaries closer together. Russia has announced they're going to help.
Y'all hear that? And he's alienating us. He's pushing our adversaries closer together. He is our allies. He's pushing them away. This is crazy. Let's go.
China fulfill all of their energy needs. During a meeting with President Xi today, Russia's foreign minister said Russia can certainly fill the resource gap that has arisen in China and other countries interested in working with us on an equal and mutually beneficial basis. Going on to say, thank God we in China have all the capabilities, both those already in use and those in reserve and those planned to avoid.
You said there are no allies? Yeah. Now there really isn't with what he's doing to them.
Being dependent on this kind of aggressive adventure, referring to what the United States is doing in the Middle East, which undermines the global economy and global energy. Moscow and Beijing have both condemned the war in Iran. However, it's proving to be lucrative for Moscow as oil prices have surged, and China's resilience has benefited Chinese asset prices since the war began. Major buyers of Russian oil like India and China have significantly increased their imports.
I bet it has.
Massively boosting Russia's fossil fuel export revenues. Donald Trump has started a war that's hurting the U.S. economy as it benefits our foreign adversaries and even strengthens their
So China and Russia, they making out like big time
relationship, all while he's decided to distance us from our NATO allies.
That part. And now NATO is going to work after the war securing the straits and they're speaking with Iran about it.
This is breaking news. President Trump has said that he asked China.
Now, this is what I was talking about earlier, where he asked China not to help Iran. And they told him, yeah. Do you guys believe that? Because I don't. I don't believe him.
To not provide Iran with any weapons during this war.
I wrote him a letter asking him not to do that. And he wrote me a letter saying that essentially he's not doing that.
Well, so that seems like the idea here is that we're going to choke the Iranian economy. And I understand that at face value, but we also are 4 years into Russia's invasion of Ukraine, where we layered historic sanctions on them and their economy was supposed to fall apart
That part. Now, what he's basically saying is that we tried this before. It's been tried, and they still standing or it didn't work. I think for Iran, they are, like I said earlier, used to pain. I don't think that they're going to put that type of pressure on them. I just don't. To where they say, uncle, we give up. I just don't.
They found a way through. And I'm sure it's not a good comparison, the Iranian economy to the Russian economy, but is this that much different to where it could just be a matter of weeks or months and they could capitulate? Or are we worried about the Russia situation where it turns out they're actually pretty resilient to this?
I
think we have
He said that's the word, resilient. Iran is very resilient.
Historically, as a U.S. government, underestimated Iranian resilience. I mean, they've been under significant international and U.S. and European sanctions for like 5 decades. And are pretty resilient. So, I think you raise a really good point. I mean, they could essentially try to wait this out and see if the economic pain and the political pain for the president is higher than what they are going to have to.
And that's a win for them. When they're inflicting that type of pain, economic pain, that is a win for them. They don't care that their military's been destroyed, their Navy, and all of that jazz, what President Trump is bragging about. When they made that move, I said chestnut checkers, closing the straits, they played their biggest hand. Now their second hand that they're going to play, the Houthis, if this second round of negotiations don't go through or if it escalates, they are definitely going to close off part of the Red Sea.
Door. And listen, they just had the crap kicked out of them for the last several weeks, and they survived. So I think that their tolerance for escalation and risk at this stage is actually pretty high. So, I'm hopeful that these discussions that are underway will yield something, but both sides are currently pretty far apart.
Donald Trump said that he was the candidate for peace. He is a warmonger president.
He's the exact opposite of what he said he was.
He has dragged us into this illegal, unwise war right on the heels of 20 years and more, in which the American people saw that in the Middle East, it's easy to get into these wars. It's difficult to get out. He is
that part, and especially for the reasons that he initially said, regime change, those are forever wars.
Failing. He is throwing things, hoping that they will stick. The next day after declaring that he would drop these bombs, he said that a whole civilization will die tonight. He is unhinged. And this is
Watkins, that's right. He said no new wars. And that's a lie.
Come at a great cost. My heart goes out to the family members of those 13 service members. Our military members, they sign up to serve. And when the commander-in-chief tells them to show up, they show up. Doesn't matter whether it's a Democrat or Republican. That is a sacred honor and duty that they live up to. The least the Congress can do is live up to its duty and hold this administration.
And I'm not going to lie. I think that they are. I don't care what nobody say. I feel like that they're not going to lift. They're not going to take their foot off his neck.
Accountable. The Constitution is clear. The declaration of war belongs to the Congress and not to the president.
But I told you guys in previous live streams, I think that they were hesitant because from my understanding, if they would have went in and attempted to do something, they would have had to take responsibility for the war moving forward. And I don't think they wanted to do that.
And we are calling on our Republican colleagues to stand up and do their job. The American people are clear. They do not want this war. And it's up to us to hold this unhinged, unaccountable president accountable.
Now we're going to get into a little bit of his little cronies and what they had to say about the Pope, because now, he crashed out last night and started talking about the Pope again. Now they're chiming in and they're spewing the same rhetoric. Let's go.
Listen, I'm not one to criticize clerics and religious leaders. We defend free speech. We certainly defend the right to free access to religion. And, a pontiff or any religious leader can say anything they want. But obviously, if you wait in.
This is all because Trump has taken what the Pope said personally. I don't think that it was an attack. He just said that this is not it. I mean, they did say it was an illegal war, and a lot of us feel that way. It's like, I don't know.
Into political waters, I think you should expect some political response, and I think the Pope's received some of that. I was taken a little bit aback, just honestly, frankly, by something that was said. I think he said several days back that something about those who engage in war, that Jesus doesn't hear their prayers or something. It is a very well settled matter of Christian theology.
And I believe he said that everybody know that this is an illegal war. This is just hard. I still can't believe they're attacking this man.
Something called the just war doctrine. There's a time to every purpose under heaven. I think what the president's comments, what the vice president's comments reflect is their understanding deep in the skiff and the classified.
If it was something like 9/11, I can't see the Pope saying something like that.
Briefings of the stakes that are so high, the situation that we're facing, and the fact that you had the nation that was the largest sponsor of terrorism now having had that ability taken away from them. That means potentially millions of innocent people will be able to keep their lives and not be killed by terrorists. That's a good thing. That's what's coming up. So I don't want to engage in a theological debate with the Pope. I certainly respect the Pope. I would just say that these are matters that people of good faith and good sense can debate and think through, and I think that's what that reflects. Yeah.
We have some news right now, and now it's Tom Homan, Donald Trump's border czar, who's been responsible for a lot of Donald Trump's immigration policies, blasting the Catholic Church, blasting the Pope, telling the Pope Stick to the Catholic Church, stay out of politics. Quote, I love.
There was a clip of him saying that too physically. I don't know. I just was like, I'm not getting it. Just his words is enough.
Of the Catholic Church. I just wish they'd stick to fixing the church and stay out of politics. That's from Tom Homan, who is a lifelong Catholic, who's firing back after Pope Leo criticized ICE enforcement operations. Quote,
so to make Trump feel better, now they're speaking publicly.
I wish they'd sit down with me and hear my experiences the last 40 years. Maybe they'd understand why a secure border saves lives. What's really interesting to me is watching literally almost every member of the Trump administration and senior Republican leadership on the Hill, like Mike Johnson, come out and blast the Pope and blast the Catholic Church.
Trump probably forced them to do it. They're scared to death of him.
All because the president is doing so, seemingly falling in line with the president's viewpoints, even though this is a deeply unpopular position with their base. We'll see what happens next. As always, spread the word, subscribe to my Substack, link in bio, follow along for all the news you need to know about.
So the Pope said something where he said, and I'm gonna try to remember the.
Here we go. He is ruining his chances. I'm telling you. It's sad because everybody knows that he hasn't been verbal about this war. Everybody knows that his feelings on this war is different. And for him, I'm just shocked. I'm shocked and disappointed.
Exact quote, but he said that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword. God is never on the side of those who wield the sword. I'm pretty sure that he said that exact statement. Now, on the one hand, again, I like that the Pope is an advocate for peace. I think that's certainly one of his roles. On the other hand, how can you say that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword? Was God on the side of the Americans who liberated?
Shouts out to my brother Kamikaze. What's up, boo?
Liberated France from the Nazis? Was God on the side of the Americans who liberated Holocaust camps and liberated those innocent people from those who had survived the Holocaust? I agree. Jesus Christ certainly does not support genocide. Whoever yelled that out from the dark, he certainly does not. I think that's pretty easy. I think that's a pretty easy principle. But I have to defend the president on this because when he said that it was a hoax.
I had to get this clip. Diamond Gang, listen to this blatant lie. Y'all, I cringed.
What he was talking about was this democratic idea that he's connected to Epstein. If you look at those emails, it's like, they were in the same, everybody in Palm Beach knew everybody, okay? Like the president has said he knew Jeffrey Epstein and he was a scumbag. But what you see in those emails is that Jeffrey Epstein hated Donald Trump and Donald Trump hated Jeffrey Epstein. In fact,
they fell out, but it was years later.
The emails is about Donald Trump narking on Jeffrey Epstein to the local sheriff saying, this guy's a scumbag. You should go and pick him up.
And Diamond Gang, I do have an update. When Melania came out here and gave her speech, guess what? Someone digged deep in the Epstein files and found, I believe, an FBI document, and Melania lied. So I'm showing that tonight.
Donald Trump says when the president says this is a hoax, he's not saying it's a hoax that Epstein was the scumbag. He's not saying that it's a hoax that Epstein was connected to powerful people. He's saying this democratic idea that somehow he was Epstein's best friend, that is a hoax. And if you look at the emails, it's obvious.
Shouts out to my bestie, Meek Cruz. Yeah, what's up, Meek? That's my partner in crime, y'all.
That Jeffrey Epstein hated Donald J. Trump. And by the way, one of the best signs for whether you're a good person or not, for whether you're a decent human being, is if the worst people in the world hate your guts. The fact that Jeffrey Epstein hates Donald J. Trump.
Did y'all hear that rationale? It don't make sense. So because Jeffrey Epstein couldn't stand Donald Trump, he's a good guy. At one point in time, they were partners in crime. They were.
Is a pretty good thing for Donald J. Trump.
Literally, they were co-defendants in a case that the Epstein estate paid out on. Let's not go there. Let's talk about that.
It's 4 a.m. on the East Coast, and Donald Trump has gone on yet another early morning social media posting spree. Somebody needs to take his phone away from him. And I'm going to show you every post, so nothing's going to be left out. At 11:34.
Again, his second attack on Pope Leo. He attacks overnight.
p.m. last night, he attacked Pope Leo again, saying that he wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon, which is, of course, just not true. But now the Pope is his new favorite target, which is a losing battle. And then almost immediately after that, at 11:39 p.m., he attacked NATO, saying that they weren't there for us. They won't be there for us in the future. He's hinting at pulling out again. At 12:01 a.m., he decided to post an article citing one of Epstein's defense attorneys about his 2019 impeachment. And then still at the same time, 12:01, he decided to post this article from...
He is so much linked with Epstein. It's disgusting. They fell out over Mar-a-Lago. Guess what? That wasn't even true. That he claimed he kicked him out. He didn't kick him out.
A very far-right news site, News, that says that the Biden DOJ infringed the rights of pro-life activists. I don't know why anybody would listen to a DOJ that's covering up the Epstein files, but I digress. 12:02, another article from that same site. 12:02, another article from that same site attacking Act Blue, which is the fundraising.
This is how many times Donald Trump posted last night. He was up again all night, crashing the hell out.
Platform for Democrats. We finally made it to 12:03, where he posted another article about Iran, saying that his chokehold could end the war. I mean, he's been saying this for weeks now. At 12:08, he said he's going to be interviewed on Fox News in the morning. At 1:10 in the morning, he's still awake, attacking Pope Leo again because he said we need to hear more from leaders in the church to reject racism and seek justice. That is like the most mild and agreeable quote of all time, but I guess Donald Trump has a problem with it. And then finally, the last post from Donald Trump at 1:12 in the morning, he posted this random tweet from a random user talking about how different news publications posted photos of Obama as a religious figure.
Y'all see this? Dude, he's so mad that people got upset with him for attacking the Pope. He cared too much.
And nobody had a problem with this. The difference is...
But you would think if he cared that much, then he needs to watch his mouth and watch what he say. Think before you speak.
Donald Trump is actually posting photos of him as Jesus. Obama is not. These are news publications. The president is not well. We cannot have a leader who is posting relentlessly in the very early hours of the morning. It just can't go on like this.
We have some news right now. Overnight, Donald Trump and JD Vance escalated attacks on the Pope and the Catholic Church. Donald Trump spent several hours overnight ranting on Truth Social, attacking the Pope and posting a whole host of other issues, with many saying that this is just a completely unhinged behavior from the President of the United States. Vice President JD Vance, meanwhile, says that the Pope should be careful when
JD Vance, you messed up. You messed up on this one.
Opining on theology. It's literally the Pope's job to opine on theology, Vance said, because he has to be careful when opining on political policy. The Pope should take that same carefulness and apply it to when he opines on theology. Donald Trump, meanwhile, spent the evening ranting about how the Pope wants Iran to essentially have a nuclear weapon, which is objectively false. These escalatory attacks on the Catholic Church are not sitting well with Republicans this morning, and many are calling the president unhinged and are attacking the vice president for following suit. I'll have more updates for you soon. Spread the word.
That right there, because he followed suit, they're going to look at him just like they look at Trump. And he think he's going to run next time around and be a favorite? I think not.
Follow for more. Good morning. The president woke up this morning and decided to say that God is playing his trump card. A real post from the president.
Another post. God is playing his trump card. Listen up, gang.
President's Truth Social account after a night of attacking the Pope, where he posted repeated messages attacking Pope Leo, where JD Vance said the Pope should be careful when opining on theology. The President of the United States goes ahead and posts this online literally seconds ago. Picture of Jesus along.
Y'all see that picture? He just keep going.
Alongside what appears to be Donald Trump, with the caption, "I was never a very religious man, but doesn't it seem with all these satanic..."
We're in the middle of a war and you have time to harass and bully a pope.
Satanic, demonic, child-sacrificing monsters being exposed, that God might be playing his trump card. And then Trump commented,
Diamond Gang, I'm at 242. Please get me to 300 likes before this live stream. And we got probably about a good 20 minutes left. I will take comments. Please and thank you. Hit the like.
the radical left lunatics might not like this, but I think it is quite nice, President DJT. Things like this, posts like this, are why there is a growing push for the 25th Amendment of the United States to be imposed and to remove the president from office in Congress right now. This is why. I'll have more updates for you soon. Spread the word. Subscribe to my Substack, link in bio to support. Follow for more.
U.S. military officials are planning for possible escalation involving ground operations in Iran, according to a new report from the Washington Post.
That is why he's sending more troops over. If they don't get to that table, it's going to escalate.
U.S. officials said the Pentagon is sending thousands of additional troops into Iran in the coming days, considering the possibility of additional strikes or ground operations if this fragile ceasefire does not hold. These forces include about 6,000 troops aboard the aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush and several warships escorting it, and about 4,200 others with the Boxer Amphibious Ready Group and its...
I'm going to tell you guys right now, if they don't get to the second rounds, and I told you guys in the beginning of this live stream, Pakistan is working overtime. Israel right now is speaking with Lebanon. They're trying to get us in within the next few days. If it doesn't go down like this because of this tension between the Straits of Hormuz blockade, I believe that Iran, the Houthis, will close up the Red Sea, blocking off so where nothing can get in and out, period. And if they do that globally, we are all in trouble. It's going to get worse. I think Trump is sending extra troops there because if it goes left, it's definitely going to be an escalation.
Embarked Marine Corps task force are expected to arrive near the end of the month. A retired Marine and CIA officer said enforcing an extended blockade will be a tall order for U.S. forces, but any of the possible ground operations will be significantly riskier. At the same time, Iran's major general has said the U.S. blockade will be the prelude to a ceasefire violation and that powerful Iranian armed forces will shut down the Persian Gulf, the Sea of Oman, and...
Because again, Iran is looking at the U.S. blockade as a violation of the ceasefire, because originally their original ceasefire, they were in control of the straits. Remember, to get the ceasefire, they used Iran's list. When they got there for the first rounds of negotiations, the U.S. pulled out the 15-point. And Iran was like, well, what is this? So that's why we're where we are now.
The Red Sea. As of right now, it seems like the ceasefire will either end or collapse and a deal won't be made because Donald Trump's demands keep going back and forth and seem to be influenced by Netanyahu. And Iran has said the United States is not being reasonable in these negotiations.
We have some news right now. Iran is firing back at Trump. First, it has published a new Lego video titled Fake.
Listen, they've been trolling him all day. When y'all see this one video, y'all going to crack up.
Jesus in response to Donald Trump proclaiming himself as Jesus on Truth Social and attacking the Pope. But in other news, the Iranian regime, the IRGC, is specifically saying that, if Trump wants to conduct a naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, then we're going to conduct a naval blockade potentially of the Red Sea and other areas in the Gulf. That's the latest threat from Iran this morning.
So I told you guys the Red Sea is next. Don't believe me. Just keep watching. Come back.
As the government also says, according to Iranian state media, that multiple Iranian tankers have actually broken through the United States blockade. Now, we don't know. We don't have confirmation independently of that just yet. But here's where we are. The rhetoric is not dying down in any way. And Iran is firing back at Trump. We'll see what happens next. As always, spread the word. Follow along for all the news you need to know about. More to come soon.
Donald Trump's latest interview with Fox Business was a complete disaster, as we all expected. But let's take a look at some of the worst things that he said. He was asked, there was a major cyber attack attributed to China. What response is under consideration?
Now that I was not aware of, as far as the cyber attacks, China intentional to help Iran.
For that attack, Trump says, "We do it to them, they do it to us. We do it to them, we do them, they do us. It's been like that for a long time. It is what it is." Trump has proposed a $707 million reduction to the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency's operating budget for next year, after already making $135 million in cuts this year. Because of this, they've already lost roughly 1/3 of their personnel, about 1,000 employees, and they were already understaffed before all of this happened. But I guess our national security just doesn't matter anymore.
It should matter after what's his name? Patel's information got hacked. But let's go.
It is what it is. Then Trump went on to say, "I ended 8 wars. Nobody's ever ended one war. Who's ended one? No."
Did you hear it? I ended 8 wars. I showed you guys a video. He literally had taken credit for unaliving Osama bin Laden. He wasn't even in office then. It was Obama. Y'all, he needs a psych eval.
Nobody. I ended 8. He even said that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon because if they did, we would have to call everybody over there.
So you guys just heard him. In that interview, he said he ended 8 wars. Where and when? And how? Like, these lies gotta stop. Diamond Gang, I'm at 258. I got 485. I need roughly 42 people to hit the like for me, please.
Sir, and you don't want to do that. He claimed the Iran war is almost over, then hinted at more escalation, then said that we should take Greenland. One thing is obvious, Donald Trump is not mentally...
He keep threatening Greenland, and he's saying Cuba next. So y'all think that this drama would be over? It's just going to intensify.
fit to be the president.
New this morning, Trump has threatened to fire Fed Chair Jerome Powell if he does not leave when he is supposed to. Powell has said he is going to stay in the role as Fed Chair as long as the investigation into the department continues by the Trump administration. Trump says he's not letting up that investigation. So, guys, we're in unprecedented territory here, so we don't know what's going to happen. This comes in a time of huge economic uncertainty due to the war in Iran, and Trump is now planning to deploy thousands of more troops to the region to try and put...
They're on their way over there, and that broke down Iran's military. They have 900,000. That is including their reserve unit. So if it escalates, we would definitely need more troops over there. I don't want them to go. I'm hoping they negotiate, but I'm just saying.
Pressure on Iran to come to a deal. When it comes to the Federal Reserve Bank, Trump has launched an investigation into the renovations of their buildings, saying that they're...
I got this clip specifically because he got a lot of nerves when he's renovating ballrooms and putting bunkers in it, and like, come on.
Overly expensive. He believes there is fraud and corruption going on. So that's why he's investigating Fed Chair Jerome Powell. He's also upset that Powell has not been lowering interest rates during his...
And that's all this is about. He launched an investigation because this man is not lowering interest rates. That's it. That's all. I think this investigation is bogus, but let's go.
His term, at least not as fast and big as he wants them to be. Last month, a federal judge found Trump's probe into the Fed Reserve part of a larger pressure campaign.
Y'all hear that? A judge found it that he was just trying to put pressure on that man to lower interest rates. Talking about wrecking somebody's life. Like, come on.
Try and force Jerome Powell out. And regarding the troop movement to the Middle East, there are roughly 6,000 troops that are going to be arriving on board the USS George H.W. Bush. So, guys, major escalations. More warships are arriving with more troops as well. About 4,200 Marines are arriving on these other warships, all expected to be there by the end of the month. So it seems Trump is preparing for things to escalate should this...
He definitely is.
Deal not happen and the ceasefire ends here in another week. Just a reminder that Trump has said he doesn't care if gas prices rise. He says that doesn't concern me. If they rise, they rise. So he doesn't give a shit about how this impacts all of us.
Donald Trump's close ally, Netanyahu.
Now listen to this. I want you guys to see how connected Trump is to these individuals and how he wants to be so much like them.
Netanyahu's EU firewall and a figurehead of the global far right. The defeat of Prime Minister Viktor Orban after 16 years in power carries significance beyond Hungary. Here's why. Days before the election, US President J.D. Vance traveled to Budapest to
And J.D. Vance could not help him.
Rally support for Orban, calling him one of the only true statesmen in Europe.
I know you have an election in 5 or 6 days, and we wanted to come and say good luck.
Trump doubled down, promising to back Orban with the full economic might of the United States. And at one point, Vance even played a live phone call from him.
I love Hungary, and I love that Victor, I'll tell you.
They just knew he was going to win.
He's a fantastic man.
The visit made clear Washington's support for Orban's politics and its stake in the result. Orban had become a model for harder-line, far-right political ideology spreading well beyond Hungary.
Tehát az nem kétséges, hogy van összefüggés a Nyugat-Európában.
This is who Trump inspires to be, just like them.
Európában megváltozott világ, az oda beáramló migráció, különösen az illegális migráció és a terrorcselekmények között.
But the election showed Hungarian voters had other ideas.
Hungary is free now!
Orban's defeat doesn't just cost Trump a key ideological ally in Europe. For Israel, the implications could be even greater. Hungary under Orban had blocked European Union efforts to sanction Israeli settlers and organizations for years.
He was working with Bibi.
Most recently, in February, when it was the only country to veto an EU package targeting extremists in the occupied West Bank. The repeated obstruction drew rare public criticism from EU officials. Hungary had also been delaying EU funding for...
I feel you. America first until he's elected, and then America last. Exactly. Trump trying to staunch the flow from the arteries of MAGA. MAGA's over. All right, let's go.
Ukraine, as Orban maintained a strategic partnership with Russia. Now,
the world will get tired and respond because China and Russia are they are helping Iran. They are among
Hungary's new leader, Peter Magyar, had promised to turn the country from disruptor to constructive partner inside the European Union. Analysts say the result could serve as a warning to...
I agree, Sleepwalker. The 25th Amendment time.
Others.
I think this is a huge game changer. Now they all can see that the seemingly very strong illiberal leaders can be chased away just from one moment to the other.
After 16 years in power, Viktor Orban's defeat doesn't just reshape Hungary. It sends a signal that even the most entrenched strongmen will fall.
That part. Let's go.
Major news as the International Monetary Fund has downgraded its global growth forecast to 3.1% from 3.3%. Now, I know that might not sound like much, but
it is. It's a lot.
This actually is huge. They are indicating that due to the war in Iran and the surge in oil prices and overall disruption in everything from Trump's war in the Middle East, that the global economies are going to slow down in their growth. And they say in some cases, worst case scenarios, some countries might only see growth of 2%. This is all due to Trump and his decision to...
Y'all see how it's affecting the whole world? Now listen, Diamond Gang, after this, I have an Epstein update. However, I have one more update on the war, which I'll play that last because just as I was coming on, they announced that Lebanon and Israel was talking. So I had to get that clip for you guys. Let's go.
To go to war with Iran. Now, while the IMF expects growth to slow, they are expecting inflation to increase to 4.4% this year from 4.1% last year. If Trump's war with Iran continues and the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, they warn that we could be seeing a global recession here soon.
I'm not going to lie. I think it's inevitable. We're going to have a global recession.
We'll have more about this on my Substack here soon, so go check me out there, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
This is breaking news. U.S. Central Command has confirmed to us that 399 U.S. service members have been injured. The far majority.
This is the true number that they were trying to hide from us.
Have returned to active duty. 3 are considered seriously wounded. 13 U.S. service members have lost their lives since the beginning of Operation Epic Fury.
We have some news right now. Todd Blanche, the acting attorney general, says that.
Now we're going to get into the Epstein. I'm going to show you that Melania Trump got busted in a lie.
He will not be releasing any more Epstein files, doubling down, tripling down on this idea that he has released everything and he's not going to release anything else. That's what he told Fox News today. He also told Fox News that he understands where Melania Trump is coming from and the need to come out and defend herself against what she calls are false allegations concerning her relationship or lack thereof with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Todd Blanche was installed. Remember, he was Donald Trump's first criminal defense attorney, former criminal defense attorney first, and then now he's his attorney general. Maybe that's why he's the attorney general of the United States right now and not Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi was supposed to appear today to testify regarding the Epstein files in front of the House Oversight Committee. She didn't do that. There's still a push to make that happen. But the attorney general in charge now seemingly wants to do anything to make you stop talking about it. Don't let him.
Wait till y'all hear what Trump did. They said the government shutdown was to delay these files.
Spread the word. Follow along for more.
I received a threatening letter from Melania and Melania's lawyers about things I had said linking her to Jeffrey Epstein.
He interviewed Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein said that he allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly, slept with Melania a year prior to her getting with Trump. Now, she said that Epstein didn't introduce her to Trump. Well, guess what? I got the proof that he did, and I'm getting ready to show y'all in a minute.
Out these letters on an almost at this point industrial scale. It's kind of scary. You get a letter from the first lady and effectively from the president's lawyers. I got this $1 billion threat. You have the first lady of the United States using the
$1 billion is the magic number because she is suing Hunter Biden for $1 billion for what he said.
Power of the presidency to basically intimidate someone who is saying things that she or the president does not want said. And there is virtually nothing that I said that would be considered libelous in any kind of strict legal understanding of what libel is. So my attorney said, well, in New York State, actually, to intimidate like this, to make these kinds of threats just to keep you from saying what you have every right to say is illegal. It's called a slap action, and there is in
He got her ass back. Listen, y'all.
New York State anti-slap laws. You can't do this. So instead of waiting for her to sue me, we turned around and sued her under the slap laws in the state of New York. Things are going dramatically wrong for Donald Trump at this point. And there could be parallel tracks.
Melania had been dating Donald Trump for at least 4 years at that point. So Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump and Melania overlapped in their relationship history for at least 4 years.
Throw it out there and have people pin it down. Things are going dramatic.
And that is what she's suing people for this statement of her dealing with Jeffrey Epstein and that Epstein introduced her. There was a document found.
Wrong for Donald Trump. And there could be parallel tracks. They're going wrong for in the war. They're going wrong from the country, going wrong in terms of heading into the midterms elections. It's quite possible that they're going wrong in terms of his marriage, or that all of these things become linked, as they do with everyone. When one thing goes wrong, other thing goes wrong. And she is now stepping into the middle of this. So what she is doing, and I think we can safely say this, what she has done is not without meaning.
And I showed you guys that video of her friend that was deported because her boyfriend wanted custody. She was friends with Melania for over 20-something years, and she threatened to tell everything. I showed you guys that, and not the last live, but the live before that. She got scared and she came out here and she spoke too soon. Well, somebody dug through those Epstein files and found the document from the feds that said that they were messing around.
It means something. It is to some purpose. What that purpose might be, we don't yet know, but it could very well be the personal an interfacing of the personal and the political.
Major news update this morning as Amanda Ungaro has come out.
That's Amanda Ungaro, her best friend. After this clip, I'm going to bring up the video of that particular file in the Epstein files that speak on Melania.
Via Anthony Andrews on his X account, and has said that she is going to pause speaking about what she knows for right now, as the response has been so incredibly overwhelming, and the response from the Trump administration has been equally as overwhelming. The press conference by Melania Trump is just a sign of what they are afraid of. And that's what she said. They're going crazy over this. They don't know what she knows. And that's absolutely right. She was tied in. She was part of the inner circle, one of Melania's best friends, one of her confidants. And she knows a lot, and she has a paper trail of things, and they don't know exactly what she has. And they know what they've done. They know what they've been involved in, and they are scared and freaking out over it. And because of that, and because of the backlash from some people in the public and comments on social media, she has to take a mental health pause on this and figure out how she's going to go forward with this and tell her story on her own timeline. And as soon as we have more information regarding this, I will update you as soon as possible. So be sure to keep checking back, and I'll see you here for the 411.
Now I'm going to bring up the third video where the proof is in the files.
I'm sure everybody remembers that last week, Melania Trump, the least popular first lady in history, decided to give a weird impromptu press briefing where she said, "I did not know Epstein. I was not friends with Epstein. And certainly..."
Diamond Gang, I need 10 more likes to get to 300, please. He's going to read off this Epstein file, this document in there. 10 more likes. Let's go.
Epstein's not the guy that introduced me to Donald Trump. Like, no way. And everybody was a little taken aback by that because, yeah, that, theory had been posited months and months ago. But even if that is what happened, that's not even criminal. But she decided to make sure we all knew that that is totally not how that happened. So some good investigative journalists decided to continue digging through all of the publicly available Epstein files. And they found a document from the FBI from a Polish witness.
She lied, Diamond Gang. I need 3 more likes. Let's go. 3 more likes, please. And thank you. She lied and she got caught. They searched and found the document from the feds. Let's go, Diamond Gang.
Who actually testified, told the FBI back in 2019 that Jeffrey Epstein is in fact the guy who introduced Melania to Donald. And how does this witness know?
Remember, she had her best friend's husband get up here and lie and said he introduced them. He lied.
Because she was there. So the FBI document actually totally negates everything that Melania tried to convince us of last week while she was hawking her new book. Let me read you this. The FBI document says Epstein introduced Melania Trump to Donald Trump. Now, that is actually the FBI summary of the document. That is what the FBI had in their files.
She was better off keeping her damn mouth shut. Let's go.
That exact line. Epstein introduced Melania Trump to Donald Trump. According to the witness interview by the FBI in 2019, not only did Epstein introduce Mrs. Trump to Mr. Trump, but Paolo Zampoli had an affair with the witness and had also attempted to...
Paolo Zampoli is the guy that had his girlfriend detained. He is the one who got up there and told everybody that he introduced them. Last week when she made that speech, he then went behind her and said he introduced her to to Donald Trump. That was a lie.
Purchase Elite Model Management, a French modeling agency that represented Trump's daughter Ivanka when she was 15 years old, and he wanted to purchase it with Epstein. Now, Zampoli's name is important because Donald Trump has appointed him as a special envoy for the administration, but Melania maintains that Zampoli is the guy who actually introduced her to Donald Trump. And Zampoli, of course, being Trump's special envoy and a good friend of the family for decades, has corroborated. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm the guy who did this, not Epstein. We don't even like Epstein. We don't know him.
He's covering it up. He fought us the entire time.
This is March. Trump covered up Epstein files and told me it would be my fault if my son got KILL. This is how deranged he did. She said he staged the government shutdown to have the Epstein files. I need y'all to hit the like. I got 600 people in the room.
He did everything in his power to stop the Epstein files to be released. He even forced Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, to do everything he could do to stop it from being released. It was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. We were even shut down for 8 weeks. We had a government shutdown back in the fall of 2025 for 8 weeks. And I believe that was part of trying to prevent the Epstein files from coming out. The only time I reached out to him was via text message after I had resigned and he had been attacking me and I was receiving it.
Remember, she was his #1 fan, Diamond Gang. Hit the like for your girl. Hit the like. Let's go.
Just, I can't even count how many death threats. And, but the death threats escalated on one of my children. And I had sent those death threats to the FBI director, Kash Patel. I sent them to the vice president, J.D. Vance, Susie Wiles, James Blake.
Why is she sending death threats to them? Like, what? They ain't gonna do nothing.
And I even texted the president. And I was so upset over death threats on my children because of him. And the quotes and the death threat were from what the president had been calling me a traitor. And I'm not a traitor to my country. Standing up for rape victims doesn't make me a traitor. And I reached out to the president and to let him know this is what's happening because what you're saying about me. And he was very unkind about these death threats. And so that was our last exchange.
What did he say to you?
He basically blamed me. He had no compassion for death threats on my children. He blamed me basically that if my son were to get killed, it would be my fault.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? When I tell y'all I sit up and I watch shit all day long to bring it to y'all, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Well, this has been a big day of diplomacy.
All right, Diamond Gang, we're going to go to what happened all the way up until I came on, and this happened right before I came on. I'm going to say this again. Shots out to Pakistan. They are working overtime, and I believe that we may be at the table sooner than later with Iran. Let's go.
Here in the Middle East. Tonight in Israel, you had a security cabinet meeting that was reportedly to talk about a potential ceasefire in Lebanon. Then you had Pakistani officials arriving on the ground in Tehran to bring the latest American position to Iranian leaders. There's been a lot of optimism in the international community, whether it's the UN or Turkey, that there will be new negotiations taking place between Iran and the United States soon. This is what the White House had to say.
Again, bad reporting this morning that we had.
So there is hope, y'all. There's hope.
Formally requested an extension of the ceasefire. That is not true. I've also seen some reporting about the potentiality for in-person discussions again. Those discussions are being had, but nothing is official until you hear it from us here at the White House.
You know what it's like when you fall out with one of your best friends? It can get nasty.
Now, remember, gang, I told y'all about Starmer. The NATO is going to help Iran successfully as far as getting ships in and out the straits after the war. So that, and they're excluding Trump in these talks.
fast. That is basically what's happening with Donald Trump and the UK Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer. And Starmer says no matter how much pressure he comes under from the White House, the UK is not joining the Iran war.
I'm not going to change my mind. I'm not going to yield. It is not in our national interest to join this war.
Trump has been complaining for weeks that the UK is not doing enough to help him, and he's even threatening to rip up a US-UK trade deal that was signed last year. What is striking?
I'm gonna tell y'all, once he gets a whiff, and he probably knows by now, he probably will try to rip it up, because they have officially said that they will help control the straits after the war, and they are having negotiations and talks with other countries on how they're going to do it, but they are excluding the United States.
Is that until recently, these two had a surprisingly warm friendship. They were an unlikely political pairing, the living embodiment of what's often known as the special relationship between Britain and America. But now Donald Trump says he feels let down by the UK, just at the point when he is about to host King Charles in Washington in a couple of weeks' time. And all of a sudden, this special relationship is looking really awkward.
Pakistan is in diplomatic overdrive right now. One of the reasons
Again, shouts out to Pakistan. This is it. This is going to be the last.
Let's take a look at the capital here, Islamabad. Look at the skyline. Look at those big, dark patches in this city. Normally, it would be twinkling lights. Like so many countries in this region, the war between the United States and Iran is driving up the price of gas, and there are power cuts here. So what's happening? Asim Munir, the field marshal, the most powerful man in Pakistan, along with the interior minister in Tehran today, their role as mediators between the United States and Iran, trying to get the Iranians to make the kind of concessions or moves that Vice President J.D. Vance talked about when he was here just a few days ago. He left the talks in Islamabad saying that the United States had put its best and final offer on the table. Well, now there's some diplomatic momentum towards the possibility.
Diamond Gang, there is hope. There is hope
of a second round of talks, and that's coming with the field marshal meeting with Iranian officials. Now, the Iranians are saying their position's simple, a durable, lasting, complete ceasefire. They also want war reparations.
And I told you guys, it's going to mock Obama's. It's going to mock this. The plan is going to mock Obama. So I don't even know why Trump tore it up.
They also want some of their sanctions lifted, some of their frozen assets returned. But from the United States perspective, they want clarity on Iran's position that it won't chase a nuclear bomb. That's the crisis. That's the tension point there. But also a full diplomatic overdrive, not just because you have two of the country's leading figures in Tehran, but the prime minister, the foreign minister, both in Saudi Arabia, then going to Qatar, then going to
Shouts out to Pakistan, y'all.
Turkey, part of diplomatic efforts to try to bring about peace and stability in the region, and try, quite simply, to get the lights back on here and so many other countries.
Breaking news, Iran update. Iran's troll game is still at it. Iran's embassy in South Africa posted a video of Trump.
I told y'all, Iran is still trolling Trump. Watch this video. Y'all gonna be like, what in the hell?
It's an 80s rock star singing about the opening of the Strait of Hormuz. Here, take a look.
I will never give you up. The Strait of Hormuz must be shut. Blood.
It's absolutely hilarious. And what makes it more funny is that Iran is posting it. This comes after Trump said they will issue a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. China's defense minister sent a warning to the U.S. He says that Chinese ships will continue transiting the Strait of Hormuz through agreements with Iran and warns the U.S.
We talked about this earlier. China told us, mind our business. We've been doing business with them. And they went through today and they went through yesterday through the straits.
Not to meddle in their affairs. Chinese ships are currently moving in and out of the waters of the Strait of Hormuz. China confirms it has existing trade and energy agreements with Iran that it will respect and honor. They state Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz and is open for us, recognizing Iranian sovereignty over transit. Chinese ships have been going back and forth in the strait, and no one has yet to stop them. Trump posted on Truth Social this morning saying that China is very happy that he is permanently opening the Strait of Hormuz, and said that they have agreed not to send weapons to Iran. China's foreign ministry spokesperson said that it was not true. No such communication took place. China has
Bingo, another lie, y'all. He lied on China. This is what he does.
never admitted or denied supplying arms to Iran. In all honesty, I believe China over Trump. Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, has suspended all defense agreements and military cooperation with Israel. Right now, 26 out of 27 EU countries support the partial suspension of their trade agreement with Israel. This is because of the war in Iran and Lebanon. Israel is becoming a pariah state. As of now, it looks like America and Iran are back in talks. Let's see what happens. And hopefully there's a ceasefire coming soon permanently.
That part. Diamond Gang, that is it. I'm going to take some comments in the chat. Hey, gang, this was a lit live. This was another nice live for me. Hold on. Let me make myself bigger on the screen. Woo! Please, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I give war updates almost every day. What I do is as soon as I wake up, I get right on and I will watch all day. Okay. So please and thank you. Subscribe to the channel. I want to say welcome if you're new here. And to my subscribers, thanks for coming back. Okay, I'm trying to get to the comments. Woo, I'm far up. I'm behind in comments. Hold on, guys. I'm so far. Okay, I'm almost there. I want to see what you guys are talking about. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, let's see. I'm almost there. So many comments. I missed a lot. Okay, somebody said they make clones of people, so who's to know? Benjamin, you said Benjamin Netanyahu is hiding in the Israel consulate in Germany, which is the irony of it. He's on the second floor in the West Wing. How do you know that? How do you know that, bro? Y'all can't cuss in here. I think he's unalived. Who? Who do you think is unalived? Mike! Oh, Tati, thank you. Shouts out to my girl, Tati. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through, pulling up on your girl. We all know Trump continues to lie to everyone. Yeah. Bibi's not gone. What? Who said that? Thank you. If people put politics down, they would find out they have more in common with each other and not billionaires. Adolf Trump. Y'all move. These comments is moving too fast. Okay, let's see. The only truth reporting is talk with Iran. They're losing 300 million a week, not able to cross their ships. Bibi, yes, he was. I just showed y'all, Cynthia. Bibi was just in their military with their military the other day. Told them that they were doing a good job, but they still had a lot more way to go. He's alive. Yeah, please use the word unalive. Please, please, please use the word unalive. Who's a moron? I don't know who that is. I'm glad I found your site. Oh, thank you, Janice. I appreciate you. Yeah, please. Go to bed, Marie. Go to bed. You was in here forever. Know where the what are you talking about, Jonathan? What is that about? Please don't spam my chat. Yes, he has. Go look at my previous live from Pennsylvania. I know he's from Philly. I showed the whole story how he was cool with Kushner when he was a kid. I did. I know YouTube politics sassy. Yeah, I caught you. Take your ass to bed. Someone said, God bless Trump and our military. Brandy, all opinions are respected. Trump is doing the will of the American people. He not doing my will. You said Putin is building up Pakistan and has stated if anyone touches it, it will be him you have to deal with. What? I believe that, Sassy. I do. They all going down. Good night, baby. Good night, Marie. Right, not my will either, Sassy. Trump is old man crazy. God bless our servicemen. Sharon! There go my sister. Just got here. I've been monetized. No, he's not. I go back to my other video. All right, y'all. It is late. Russia and China is going. Yeah, they are. I believe that. I believe that. All right, Diamond Gang. It is 1:30 a.m. here where I am from. No. Bro, I'm telling you, BB's alive. Honestly, I think the rumors are true and Trump will be the last president of the United States. I think people are going to take our country back and ruin it accordingly. I don't know. Hold on. Everything that is happening in the Middle East is playing in our favor of China and Russia without them having to lift a finger. I believe that. Yeah, thanks to everybody that participated. Mike. Yeah, he's alive. I believe that. See, BB got that second warrant out. I showed you guys that the other day. They issued a second warrant for war crimes for him. And once the war stops, he will have to be held responsible. So he wants it to keep going. Plus, not only that, he's trying to create a civil war. So it is what it is. You got to go. You're just spamming. You're doing anything. I tried to give you a chance, Jonathan. But yeah, good night, Brandy. All right, Diamond Gang, I got to get up out of here. It's 1:30 a.m. Subscribe to the channel. Keep your notifications on. Shouts out to my subscribers. And if you're new here, shouts out to you. Subscribe to the channel. And shouts out to my beautiful mods. I love you all.
It's your under degrees. Sip on me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling his tea, spilling and sipping his tea, spilling and sipping his tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea.